Naga lane doesn't sound that bad. Like the real in with Monkey getting a bunch of Jingu stacks, that sounds very good.
The large plus the
Jenkins, how have you
slow.
not caught on with Ench being picked up for nouns? Where do you think the Tusk is going?
Could still be a mid snap fire there.
Of course, but don't you want to hype it up at the potential?
It's gonna be an offlane Tusk. I feel like Gunnar is he's making this call. He's like, just pick me the Tusk. I'll carry the team with it.
No. He's gonna say it's a carry monkey. I want to be Snapfire. I don't want to be a melee hero.
I think he doesn't care after that first game. That was a 20-0 scenario.
Yeah, it was really rough.
I mean,
there's what I'm saying is there is more flexibility on nouns than we might have let on when we only first saw the 2 picks. And then with Ench and Razor coming out, we're like, okay, the flexibility is also there for nouns on where they could move things. Snap as a support, as a mid, Tusk as an off lane, or as a support.
they failed the Naga test here. Like, you just put Naga carry now. What do you do?
You don't think there's a last pick that could...
I don't think so.
I also think Naga carry.
I think you can just put Naga carry now. Not a single one of these heroes is good. Maybe Snap later, but that's way later.
And that's if you take the Ricochet specifically?
I mean, he's going mid, so he's going to take it.
Yeah, everybody knows playing for hyper late games really good right now. So
It'll definitely secure you the win.
Yeah, that'll be it for now.
Batrider can, I mean, honestly. And then,
5 seconds.
Well,
can we do 5 Monkey? Is that a possibility?
5, I don't know, 4.
I mean, Monkey's pretty good versus Razor too, so even if they do Naga plus Monkey lane, I just want to see those 2 lane together, I think. And I want to see the Bat with the Primal, and I want to see GPK pick up the last hero here.
Yeah, Bat with Primal I think is really good against the Razor. Again, both of you have a way to get away from a Link.
The Monkey from going mid, because that's definitely not a good matchup.
I wonder how you're going to do this last phase of bans then, because if we're still having a couple of questions of where everything is going, BB team taking out Dragon Knight, Nouns, Weaver and Puck. I feel like 2 very opposite
They don't know.
They don't know.
Yeah, like that's an insane difference on what you're banning out there.
I mean, they're just highly mobile heroes, which they have no catch for, right? But they also have no answer to Naga illusions as well, so...
10 seconds.
I mean, there's still a Zeus.
They have last pick.
They could pick like, something like a Zeus to deal with it, if it's a carry Naga.
Yeah, but the thing is, when I play Naga,
Who makes
one
the moves?
counter isn't enough.
If they pick a Zeus, I would just be so worried about like who does anything in the Tusk that's against the carry Naga.
What about a... I was going to say Luna, but I feel like...
Yeah, they banned DK. I think they're setting up for this Naga to be
Kick
the
on.
carry.
Okay, well, BB team are going to have to show everything first, so Nouns have a little bit of...
Yeah, that's actually a really good
That's
ban.
good. That's a good.
It's good against the carry Naga. Okay, maybe
Alright,
not
but
carry.
they go Troll.
Wow, they actually
Troll
banned,
into Razor.
They banned
What
Meepo
about
and then picked Troll,
I
and
was gonna
Troll
say
is
Loon.
considered one of the hardest counters to Meepo because you
And
destroy
Troll's
the
also
Mega Meepo.
considered the worst hero versus Razor.
Yeah, that's quite disrespectful. I'll say they're
They
gonna,
like to put all of your
10 seconds
preconceptions about the game out the window.
they're gonna regret that.
Whoa, whoa.
So this is definitely what a
5
monkey mid
seconds
with a
remaining.
bat plus Primal off lane.
Alright, how do we exploit this? Yeah, I think you definitely put Snap mid at this point. Razor's your carry.
You say how do we exploit this as in America?
That's like a panel, like our
I see.
collective minds.
Okay, well, yeah. How do we win this, guys?
Viper.
I mean, Razor could go off lane technically
Now?
with the Tusk. That's not a bad lane.
Is there a...
So they could pick a new carry here. Is Lena in the pool?
Lena is in the pool, yeah.
Lena. Ursa when in doubt.
Now select your
Ursa
Ursa
into Troll,
Ursa it out.
the hero that hard counters.
This is
What's
very
going on?
bizarre.
What is going on with these drafts?
Yeah, Troll,
So-
by the way, is the best hero in the game versus
Yeah,
Ursa.
so Troll, just to be clear, rushes Ags. When
Look, aren't you glad you hyped up the Tusk?
oh, it's Gunnar
offlane?
Tusk, actually. All right, hell yeah.
Which is
I don't
Good
think
call,
I
Jenkins.
don't think it's gonna work.
which is
I don't think it's gonna work
which
here,
is
but
really bad versus Troll.
that's
I don't know anymore. Like so these guys are really good. They've been scrimming a lot, and Dota has been changing so drastically. It's very hard to keep up with. It's really, really hard. And all your ideas about the game, like, just get flipped on its head. Like, just last patch, it's like, you know, DK versus Razor mid. I was like, Razor should win this. DK dumpstered him every single game. So now it's just, I'm just want to wait and watch and see what these teams have in store.
No, I like the adjustments. I feel like they're on the
For
right track.
Nouns? For
Yeah, for
Nouns?
Nouns. I mean, they're trying to just pick heroes that can lane better, more stable lanes, and not try to be too fancy with their picks. I like it.
Even the Tusk offlane, you don't think is too fancy?
I think it's okay.
Okay. And very quickly, Jenkins, because you hyped up the offlane Tusk, I know you talked to Gunnar about it. Do you want to give insight as to what you think he's going to build, how to play it out?
he
How
told me what he's gonna build.
I know he did, and
He
you don't
told
remember
me.
it, do you?
No, I do remember.
Okay.
He said I mean, this is you'll see it in this game. He's gonna get a.
Is it the same every time?
It's roughly the same. Yeah, it's like blink dagger, pipe, that sort of thing. You're building kind of regular aura items, and then into eventual scaling with like the Aghanim Scepter late game. So it's pretty normal offlane stuff mixed in with a little bit of the mid-tusk behavior.
Yeah. Well, look, it's only our second series here on the mainstream of day number 1. We've already got a bit of a unique pick coming out, so let's head on into
into a Monkey King matchup from GPK. You've got the Razor eventually to deal with the Troll, but then you have the Troll to deal with the Ursa. You have this Gunnar offlane Tusk that we haven't seen in forever. We heard Jenkins would have built something like Blink and Pipe, a mix of auras and a little bit of touch of that mid-Tusk in. I'm going to be really interested to see if Gunnar has a much better lane than last time. There should be more play here. I mean, you've got a lot more potential to run down with the damage you have from Lelis this time around, so it should lead to a better time. And if Gunnar has a game, there is a connection to be made here for Nouns this time.
Certainly is. A bit of damage being spread out here. Not too much to really write home about, as seems like most of that was Toronto Tokyo taking some damage out. Still, we can start as usual with the mid lane, of course, where you are going to have, or rather Copy, excuse me, against GPK. It's a Razor vs Monkey King matchup, so you'd have to assume Copy should have a pretty decent advantage.
Yeah, it should be pretty happy for the Razor. Obviously, you're not going to get too much static links off, but it's still going to cut off how much GPK can farm up. I'm really interested to see what GPK will do with a Simian Stride. Like, if he's going to look for early rotations, try to leverage this for rune control, call his supports in here while he hangs in tree line for initiation. There's a lot of angles with core monkeys going into Simian Stride now as well. But laning-wise, Copy should just be perfectly fine. He can create spacing with a plasma field. He can always threaten if the jump is there with a static link. And that will make this a little bit more of a passive lane for GPK. More passive than I think a Monkey King would necessarily want. Although, you still have to watch for a little bit of that damage from the Boundless. There is still some play for GPK to just shove and farm up here safely.
Certainly is. Look at that top lane, John. You've got Psyker and Toronto Tokyo against Gunnar. And of course, Lelis. And here we go. They're going to make the chase. Toronto Tokyo, he will land the delusion. Well, Lelis will survive this time around. The thing is, though, you and I were speaking about this while the draft was ongoing, and it does feel like the Troll Naga lane, it feels pretty busted in the right hands, rather. And I wonder how Gunnar will deal with it here with Lelis. It just seems like this should be a pretty scary lane if you are Nouns.
And it is, especially as the levels go up for Toronto Tokyo once he has the Ensnare to set up. Get the Deluge off, you get a couple of lucky roots out from Saika, it's going to last forever. Of course, there is, again, more play here from Nouns. Gunnar with the early tag team, with a long-range poke that the Snapfire has this time with a Scatter Blast. It certainly is a lot more playable than the last game with a Sand King Tinker. That lane just felt super passive this time around. Gunnar can look to pressure in, and it is making it slightly uncomfy for Saika. Every single time Toronto Tokyo's been walking up, with the Deluge, he has been getting blasted and back with a Scatter Blast and just prevents that connection that they want to play off of here for BBT. So just heads up positioning from Lelis to keep that back, keep that damage kind of tied in. Of course, for Toronto Tokyo, the one big thing with the Naga, with the illusions, is it's going to be really easy to manage this lane, get some pulls, get some stacks going. That economy build-up for Saika is going to ramp up real quick if you don't keep track of it here from Lelis.
Absolutely. And the final lane, of course, you're looking at it right now, Miro and Save against Fly and Yuma. For now, it seems like Yuma's having a bit of a challenging time, as Save is able to just kind of zone them out with all the sticky napalm spam. So Miro's going to be off to another great start. And the thing is, with the Ursa versus Primal Beast matchup, you know, usually the Ursa would be able to bully him out just a little bit. But not so much the case right now with Save on the Bat Rider, just ensuring that Miro can close the gap and secure that farm.
Yeah, it gets a little bit awkward to try to play with, say, Enchant and Earthshock Aggression onto Miero. Sure, he doesn't have Onslaught, but he gets a little bit more durable as you commit with the Uproar. There's the Flame Break to worry about from Save, and you don't really want to take that risk right now for Yuma. Oh?
They're going to try with the shards, but Toronto's coming in to help out, and well, they're not really doing enough damage. Gunner's going to have to be forced to try and run away, though Psych is just getting right to work. It was a nice little attempt, but even with the level 2 tag team of Gunner, the damage is lacking quite a bit.
And it is. They need to poke and prod from a distance a couple more times. They are wasting all of Psycha's regen. He's already out, as again, he was poked down earlier. And it's a rather interesting one as well. Psycha doesn't get value point from Berserker's Rage, just opting to focus on the Axis. The increased stat resist is nice for the added slow, the added mischance. Duration as well is going to be pretty big, so that is something to watch out for. If you do actually fully commit outside of your spells, Psych is not going to be the easiest target as long as Toronto Tokyo gets a mirror image out with the Deluge going.
So far 0-0, 4.5 minutes in. So pretty even kind of game so far between these two teams, at least in terms of kill score. Even the laning stage does seem substantially better than last game around, at least for Nouns. Copy's having a much better time on this mid-Razor comparatively to the mid-Quap he was playing last game. Meanwhile, GPK does take a bounty, or rather, excuse me, a water rune, and is going to make his rotation to the bounty. Meanwhile, Yuma does end up dying. Save able to secure the kill, as Save does eventually go down, but they didn't even need the rotation from GPK. Just Save gets it done himself.
He does. Do manage to get that commitment. Again, Miero does not have anything like the Onslaught, so they're just playing off the Batrider. The Flame Break, and the spam, and the slows. They are getting a little bit of damage up top. Gunner's starting to drop fairly low.
It certainly is. Gunner still being chased down. The axes will slow him down just a little bit more, but Gunner's going to be okay. Toronto unable to continue chasing past the tier 1 tower. And all things being said and done, even though the lane did seem a little bit challenging, Gunner still has found some decent farm. While that's happening though, down at bottom lane, looks like GPK is thinking about a rotation. And he's making his move now. They do jump in for the onslaught. Yuma again being targeted, and he is certainly just dead. There is just no saving this Ursa. Saved to pick up another kill on the Batrider. And Fly, I mean, he's still being chased down, but it doesn't really seem like they care for Fly. It'd be a mission to find that kill. They'd rather just not waste their time.
Yep. A little bit of a chase over to Bounty Runes as well. Toronto Tokyo getting poked pretty hard from Lelis.
Now, he might be dead. The image is out. He's all right. Lelis doesn't want to deal with it. So your one saving grace right now is Copy finding a lot of farm. On the Razor, and Gunner's not doing too bad either. They're going to try and make the play on the Psyker. Top lane. They'd love a Troll Warlord kill. He's still level 5, but he's looking for a TP play out, and he's gonna make it.
Oh, no.
So close as well with the Centaur Conqueror, but just not quite close enough. As now bottom lane, they know Yuma's alone. But Save not going to dive in, as it seems like Miero's a little bit preoccupied with a creep wave.
Dire's top
And he
tower
is.
under attack.
Getting some farm going, has the phase boots up, not quite at 6. So no pulverize up just yet. And good news for Nouns, even though they don't find the kill top, they will find the objective. Top tier 1 gone relatively early here, 7 minutes in. So they've got some extra room to finagle their way around, find some safe farm, contest a little bit further out, try to catch Saika off guard if he's not too careful here. I don't think BBT minds too much though. Again, they're getting steady build up for GPK. They've got the levels ramping up here for Miero. They'll be able to trade tier 1 bot now as well. No signs of defense coming out here from Nouns anytime soon. And you still need more items up anyhow from Nouns to really sustain. Like you only, I mean, we're at the point where everyone just has power treads. It can be, it's still relatively early to think about deep commitment. They are looking at mid though.
Certainly looking at mid. Toronto, Tokyo. Well, this takes a bit of damage here from Lelis, but ultimately nothing to write home about. He'll be just fine to retreat. And it seems like Nouns are setting up for a nice little early push here in the mid tier 1 tower. You've got GPK hanging around the tree line, but I highly doubt he'll be able to defend this on his own. No siege creep available, so it could just be a bit of chip damage to come out with this enchanted creep from Fly.
Dire's middle tower.
Though Save is rotating on the Bat Rider, and it seems like the defense is actually going to kind of work out. Bit of damage, but nothing to really worry about here for BBT.
Pretty heads up from GPK, just pulled the wave, cleared out safely away from these heroes. They spot out this rotation as well with some good defensive wards from the side of BBT, so you shouldn't be able to find Saika here either. And Nouns for their clump up aren't really finding anything. They are giving a ton of room out for Yuma to try to hit this farm timing with, say, the Battle Fury into the Blink BKB, but that's still a ways off as well. Our Ursa bottom network core, at the moment, only 500 gold above her Bat Rider support, so much more time before the Ursa becomes a factor in this game whatsoever. And which also means you don't need to worry about Roche anytime soon here for BBT.
Thinking about Yuma again down to that bottom lane, but Yuma's just too close to his tier 2 towers. Instead, we'll just secure their own stacks here. GPK and Save will go ahead and take care of their own. Net worth is still very close between these two sides, though. Just a 1k advantage is the way of BBT. Now, Yuma, I'm looking back at the Ursa's farm, like it's just not comparative to what we saw last game, where there was a Battle Fury at the 11-minute mark. He hasn't even really got one component of that Battle Fury yet, sadly, on the Ursa.
No, it's way far off.
Toronto, I mean, maybe they could secure a nice easy Naga kill, but it's not really proving to be that easy. Scanner, he'll try for the shards out, but Toronto just going to juke him and TP away. So no freebie here for Gunner, sadly. A very happy Toronto Tokyo getting away once again. And both sides seem more than happy to just play the slow game, it seems like, for game number 2. Obviously, for Nouns, I think they're more than happy to play this style of game, but I think I'm a bit more surprised by BBT. I thought after game 1 they'd be a little bit more assertive about this.
Yeah, it almost seemed like it, especially with, again, this full last pick for Saika into the Razor, just almost a full confidence pick. Or just opting to ramp up. I think it's also down to their supports, right? Like, you've got Naga support, you've got Bat Rider support. Neither one can really connect that easily or start these fights for you. You need to blink up on Save. You didn't have a runaway lane from Miero. It was a free lane, but not something that where he completely stopped and got early timing, still waiting for his full blade meal as well. So there is some waiting to be done. It's now into the field, it's a little bit itchy to find a kill. They've been playing aggressively on the opposite side. Gunner, though.
Top lane, Gunner. Gonna be an easy target, it seems like, for the side of BBT. Try to snowball away, TP out, and there is no easy target. Gunner is fine. Very, very nice TP play out, as now Nouns, seeing the opening, do try to go for that tier 1 mid tower. With the siege creep available and the enchanted creep, it should be a pretty easy tier 1 to take. BBT, they are desperately trying to get within range to defend this, but the tier 1's basically gone. Maybe you could hope for a bit of a deny here. Not even that, though.
Yeah. Pretty heads up from Nouns. They see all of that commitment up top. They know, they know with full confidence they can use that space to clear out mid. They even up the map control a little bit more. They've bought a ton of room out again for Yuma, who is starting to catch up, equalizing with Gunner's farm at the very least, and can start to scale from there. it's building up for now. So you've got the Yasha up in the copy, so you can start to chase around, probably going for, perhaps just looking for the standard Manta BKB sort of build here. And once you have that, you certainly have your play lined up. It's a bit of a smoke out from BBT. Blade Mail up from Miero, so he can withstand the onslaught here. Just need to find a target in.
They're going to find Fly. Keep in mind, that is an Ent you're trying to deal with. This could take a little bit of time. They'll pick him up and slam him down, and eventually Fly surely goes down, but he's still running, still healing. Meanwhile, Save, he's the one to drop. It's the classic Ent bait. They thought they could burst him down with so many heroes, but it just wasn't enough. Fly survives and Save will drop.
It's pretty big for now. They commit a lot of ultimates coming out there from BBT. Wukong's down for quite some time here on GPK. The Monkey King doesn't quite have damage yet, just the Javelin Gloves. Needs a full Maelstrom to really start to get some some farm across the map going even faster, and some threat in the Wukongs. Right now, it's just not there. Obviously, you're still not expecting anything from Saika, as he is also going into Battle Fury into the Ags, so not quite the full Ags rush we've been seeing in a few of the qualifiers. I think we saw that a lot in, again, Wallachia Season 2 qualifiers. It was something that was featured quite a fair bit. So just falling back into some steady build-up. I do love Nouns' position. They are pretty far here, though.
They should be able to kill Fly this time. But he is, again, very tanky. It might take a little bit of time. They'll jump in with the battle trance. They'll get it done. Fly is gone.
It's a lot of space, though. Like, I really like what Nouns are doing. They're just stalling this game, dragging all of this attention away from BBT. It feels like BBT is like a very angry, I don't know, like a bull. And Fly's just getting the target painted on his back. Bot lane has been entirely safe for Yuma. Copy's been farming, even Gunner's being able to work into this pipe timing to block off a lot of magical damage you're going to be pumping out here with Save and with Miero. So you have a lot of good answers for like this mid-game build-up that both teams are going for. Yuma, he's still not in the comfiest spot, but again, he's not that far behind any of these cores now. The margins are slim. And Nouns, if they can get into this Battle Fury timing, if they can get into Copy's Manta, take a fight into Roshan, that's where things start to really shine for Nouns and bouncing back in this game number 2.
I've found some ancient stacks here in the Dire jungle, or rather Dire triangle. Problem is Save has spotted this out. So they're very well aware this is happening, and in fact now the rotations do come in to ensure that none of the creeps will be handed the way of Nouns. There's no fight to really break out, so it seems like BBT unable to really close the gap to secure a kill. They'll still secure their own stacks though, so no problem. So, I mean, Saika's still staying ahead of the Ursa as well, so like, it just seems like the Troll Warlord still has that inherent advantage, plus the net worth advantage you're finding. And of course, Saika is just rushing the Ags now after the Battle Fury, and it's going to make life very hard for Nouns in terms of trying to deal with this Troll Warlord once he does have the Ags up.
Yeah. It becomes a little bit daunting as to how you try to actually burst down Saika. You can try to sap away his damage if Copy finds the angle down the line. And that's a lot of pressure on the Razor, of course, to get that perfect static link target, which might not be the easiest thing to find. At least Yuma has his Battle Fury. And again, considering this game, it's only about 900 gold behind. It's a huge improvement from game 1. I think at the least it's that. You're not too far behind. You can catch up to this Battle Fury. Again, with the Battle Fury up, now it should start to think about controlling the map a little bit more. Take some forward presence, try to set up for an objective or a fight into a kill as Miero.
They're getting caught out. Snowball will be there. This could be a pretty big pick-off for Nouns if they can catch him. And Miero, he's gone. They don't want to fight. No rotations to come in from BBT, so Nouns suddenly finding the highest net worth hero for BBT and taking him down quite easily.
Yeah, that's the kind of aggression they want here on Nouns. Again, they kill a high net worth target. They don't really manage to capitalize on the push, but they maintain control of the stop area. Like, this forward ward has been quite valuable for them. It's not going to be easily spotted out just yet by Toronto, although the courier should get that information down. They can start to open up the map, or at least prevent that deep movement from being as easy to line up here. Up top.
Gunner. And they've got the lasso. They've got the Wukong's command. They'll control Gunner for now. No Snowball to play with either, because he did commit it onto the creep wave, and he is gone. As soon as they saw that snowball committed on the creep wave, it was an easy jump in, and sadly for Gunnar, there was no way for him to buy time for his team to get there and save him. They are still around, they are still perhaps thinking about a fight, but BBT being quite respectful here and just backing out of there. Or are they? GPK still hanging around. Will pretend to be a tree, but it's rather obvious when you're moving GPK. It seems like now they aren't going to try and force anything. I mean, Yuma has already backed off anyway, so has Copy. Back to the drawing board. But it's still less than 1k net worth lead the way of BBT, so it just the game is so even right now.
It is. I will say it's starting to feel like Nouns can start to think about this rush timing a lot better than BBT. Again, Troll does have a little bit of that rush threat as well, but it hasn't felt like they've really worked the map out. Again, there was this entire bot area that Nouns were very comfy with, and Nouns were also invading the top jungle quite nicely, although and they get punished once or twice on fly, but it's an enchantment, so you don't really care. They are finding save now as well.
He's gonna try and juke through the Roshan pit, maybe a deny, but no, not quite. Copy will take him out. Another nice pickup here for Nouns, and now they can officially think about Roshan. Yuma's right around the corner, he'll just deal with the creep wave first. The question is, do BBT want to try and force a defense here for this Roshan play? I think the answer is probably going to be no. They may have just kind of accepted that against the Ursa they're going to lose this Roshan anyway. And it doesn't really seem like there's any urgency from BBT to try and get here and fight this one out.
Looks like they're kind of happy with just letting this go. Let the momentum carry through from Nouns. Their lineup does come online a lot faster in comparison to BBT. Like even with like a Naga support, Toronto, Tokyo needs so much more to really have some impact. You need the mech, you kind of want your shard as well if you can find that. It's still going to take a lot of time until these aura items are up in your Naga to sustain through these engagements. The Ags isn't done yet in Saika. You're still working on the Gleipnir for GPK. You're working on the Ags Blink for Miero. A lot of things still need to come online. At the very least, the BKB's there for the Crown Beast, so he is secure in pulverizing one down, but doesn't quite feel like he has the durability yet to tank through everyone focusing onto him.
Miero, Shards, not gonna lock down the Primal. I mean, Nouns, they are certainly hunting. BBT definitely looking like the team that does not want any kind of fights. But you do have the Ags almost up on Saika. He's only missing the Ogre Axe, so once that's available, perhaps they will try to make some plays here with their Troll Warlord. And he's still substantially ahead of the Ursa, just by about 1k. Yuma himself going to go for a BKB pickup here on the Ursa. Pretty standard.
Already has a blink to gap close as well. Love this little play from Nouns. They shove in mid, they instantly smoke, look for a flank. Might be able to get this collapse up top, while they're trying to slowly siege onto that tier 1 here.
Oh, GPK, don't move, sir. He's all right for now. Yuma looking to jump in, but no, it was all a bait. Never mind. Yuma gone. GPK. Here we go again. They'll try for Toronto, but the song is popped. The TP away is there, and well, that'll be about it. I thought originally when GPK moved, I thought Nouns would be the ones to pounce, but they just weren't quite quick enough.
No. Took the long route through the top jungle instead of running through the river. Miss out on that opportunity to collapse a little bit quicker, and BBT get a good read, get some good punish. Find a very important here to keep shut down. Again, Yuma, he's not that far behind, but he's not catching up and increasing or getting a lead for himself anytime soon here either. You still have this Aegis to play with from Copy at the very least. You can still frontline with a Razor, but honestly, it just feels like BBT does not care. They've got the full Ags up on Saika. Going for the Manta style next. They're playing tag a little bit up top, but Nera is fairly durable. Does have the BKB again to back off. And we'll just hold steady. In a prolonged match, it's kind of hard to read which way this goes, as Saika does battle trance clear out the Tormentor solo, as he's not fighting anyhow. But as it scales on, it's a little bit interesting in this match, as, well, you've got the scaling out from Monkey King and the Troll. You do have scaling with Razor Reverse as well.
Oh, he got caught. I didn't quite see that, but I believe Yuma just guessed the right tree and cut it down. So a very nice pickup. I mean, GPK That's your mid core going down here to the pos 1 of Nouns. Another nice bit of gold influx here for Yuma.
Yeah, it's a important one for the Ursa to find by himself. That's going to lead to a very nice BKB timing for Yuma. Not the quickest, but still going to be on time and in a good time. It's still about the recipe away, 1.2 Kuei gold away. Again, a very even game, a very low kill game. And the opposite of game 1, Mike. 5-5 at 22 minutes with a 1k lead. Last time, I think we were about 22-1 at that point, or 20-1 in game 1. So good news for now. Let's see if BBT can start to ramp up here with a smoke.
They want to go. Copy. Does he sense that something's wrong? It seems like he does. He backs off at the exact right moment. No pick off to be had. Not yet anyway. They'll try and roam up towards the top lane. Into the Radiant jungle they'll go. Yuma. Oh, he's farming that triangle. This could be very dangerous. GPK's keeping tabs. But this could be too far for BBT as well, don't forget. I mean, they are venturing pretty deep into Nouns territory. They'll go for that tier 1 top tower instead, but there is going to be a counter smoke now out from Nouns, knowing exactly where BBT are hanging about.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
But they've already found the tier 1 top tower, and well, this smoke, it starts to feel a little bit obvious.
It does. See if they can still get that collapse. I mean, Aegis is starting to fade here from Copy.
We'll find Toronto. I mean, it's something. It's not really that big of a kill, but if you're Nouns, you'll take it.
Yeah, you'll take what you can get. If you're stalling out again, the Naga full aura timing. And the mech is up, but the Guardian Greaves aren't going to come out anytime soon. Aegis does expire, so for BBT, they do manage to hold up against the Aegis timing quite nicely. Dodge out that big power spike from Nouns, still keep that scaling. On Saika has the Yasha up. Manta not too far off, going for the Lincolns as well, just to protect from perhaps some instant control with, say, the Snowball or the Punch, or even just the Static Link. There are some ways to pop, but this can give the troll a little bit more leeway as well from weaving in and out. Have your own auras up and ready on Nouns, full Guardian Greaves now for Lilith. See if they can... Oh?
Look how tanky this hero is, man. It's just unbelievable. The Fly is still being chased. He finally goes down. The thing was, like, if his team was behind him, the amount of time he bought to allow a way into a fight is just unbelievable. But at the end of the day, nobody was there in time. As now Gunnar still hanging about, that the Boundless does miss, and he chops down the tree of GPK and pops the spray as well. Why the hell not? And once again, it's just runaway. No fight.
It's been a good game of cat and mouse so far, although BBT are starting to get a little bit hungry here. Pressuring onto the mid, 6-6. And we're getting the opposite ends here, Mike, in terms of games. See if they finally find a kill this time.
Here we go. Gunnar gets caught, and Snare will be there. A nice little shards block, though, going to make it very hard. And now GPK getting jumped here by Yuma, though the Enrage forced to be popped here by Yuma as he does need to retreat. They're still trying for the MK, but Yuma cannot keep up as now Copy. It's complete chaos in the mid lane, but Save is gone. They've lost the Batrider. They might even lose Saika if the Battle Trance runs out, and it might very, very soon. But no, the song, Toronto, he buys the time. Saika's out of there. Toronto, he'll be the one being left behind. They still lose 2 supports. It's not a great fight for BBT, but at least they get the big ones out.
I think you bail out all of the cores. It looked like a decent fight that they could have started off of, but Nouns were very ready this time around. They had their saves ready. It's really hard to pin down Gunnar with his pipe, because this Tusk is starting to be a little bit of a slippery issue. You've got 2 really tanky heroes that can front, that aren't like necessary for you to fully commit on for now. It's like if Fly gets caught, you don't care too much if there's no opportunity because it's an Ench. If Gunnar gets caught out, he has Snowball with Blink to save himself. He has the fight to sustain true as well. So he's not really at risk of just getting 100 to 0'd. I think BBT have to find a way to get bigger lassos out from Save. They need to be able to find these big targets. We are seeing at least some ways of kiting Copy around with the BKB Pierce on Pulverize. Not always the easiest thing to find here from Yarrow. And that is the one thing that BP has to play off of. It's save with a Blink Lasso and Miero with whoever he decides to pulverize down here.
Top lane. Looks like they might run into save. There is vision around this area though from BBT, so this could be a very nice fight to force, and they are going to try. Onto Fly they'll go. They want the Ench first, but Fly is just tanking through it once again. It's now GPK, comping too much damage. Still trying to man up here in his Wukong's command, but so is Gunnar. GPK, he's out of damage now with that static link. He needs to get out. Still Gunnar going very deep, but he will be able to blink out. Nobody dies yet. In goes Yuma once again on Toronto, but Toronto is able to walk out of there thanks to the Boundless of GPK. And BBT now, the ones to retreat, as Nouns are still looking to force the fight. But nobody's... Oh, I say nobody's left. Yuma's still having a hunt around. GPK is still there, but they will not find him.
Rather unfortunate for BBT. They don't manage to get the big lasso target they'd want. Isolating Fly really doesn't do much. Like, this Ench has proven time and time again, if you're not connecting with your Primal Beast with a trample, and the Ench is just not going to die fast enough for you to capitalize. And unfortunately for Miero, and very fortunate for Nouns, he did get distracted by Copy's illusions, ended up pulverizing on the side to try to stun in the Wukong's AoE. I don't think it reached out for the most part. So, very good news for Nouns. They get the 2k lead on top. They get another Roshan for free with a banner. You can start to consider more aggressive plays going forward. This should allow BBT to reset their cooldowns. Song will be back up for Toronto Tokyo. He's doing a great job of just ensuring mid pressures there. So the Naga split push is there to at least stall out in some of these objectives despite having the Aegis. But Nouns certainly do feel like they are getting in control of this game. BBT, the initiation angles have not been clean. At least they have a source of break now with Miero. With the full Ags up, could help out if you are jumping Fly this time.
There you go. Down towards the bottom lane. T2 tower will be targeted by Psyker. And keep in mind, they're fighting against the Aegis now, but Nouns are not looking to try and defend this. So Gunner's picked up his Desolator now, so you've got a lot of right-click potential here with the Tusk. Nouns looking to head through the mid lane. BBT will see if they want to try and defend. So it seems like Nouns are going to pressure this tier 2 mid tower, and well, in fairness, the mid tier 2 is just about to fall anyway. So it is basically already gone. Nouns will go ahead and take care of it. Do you want to try high ground? I mean, you do have a Roshan banner plus an Aegis.
BBT's going high ground.
Oh, BBT's going high ground. Never mind. Yeah, I mean, we do have the creep wave at the top tier 3 at the very least, Jonathan. They'll back it. That'll be enough.
They do a lot of chip damage from that tier 3. If a full commitment does come in and Psyche decides not to join in, with Toronto Tokyo just shoving one lane in, he could just make a beeline for bot and just kind of even out the game that way. I like that coverage out from BBT. Seeing the Roche, knowing that the mid tier 2 would still hold, knowing how fast they can push. With a Troll, does give them a little bit of an access point later on. Nouns looking for a smoke out. No forward vision this time to try to spot out BBT though.
Mid lane. I mean, they could go for Miero if he does show on the creep wave, but nobody wanting to venture that far for that farm. Gunnar will reveal his position, so a pretty obvious smoke now for BBT to just kind of wait out. Line's being drawn through the top lane, so they might actually try to pressure this top tier 3 tower. But now it does feel like they really want to pick off before they try to venture to that high ground, but BBT are just not providing the openings. Like, it's still 8-6 with a 1k advantage, and we're 31 minutes in basically. No openings really being provided.
No. Again, it's the complete opposite of last game. 8-6. No one going double digits just yet. Half an hour in.
I may have just jinxed.
Smoke.
Happy days.
Oh.
Here we
Good
go.
job, Mike.
No, I not. I double jinxed. Jump in. Oh, I triple jinxed it. Here we go. We're onto the race. Copy's gone, but so is Toronto Tokyo. Onto the end. Fly is also dead. Gunner. Chase is on. Gleipnir is going to land from GPK. Nice shards block from Gunnar once again, but the chase will continue. Yuma's right around the corner though. He's thinking about forcing the fight, and he will jump in. They'll try for Miro first on the Primal Beast. Yuma, he'll pop the BKB. Still trying. Gunnar, somehow still alive. Finally goes down. Yuma, still looking for a target. Will chase down Psyker, but he's just too fast on the troll. They just kite out the Ursa. So they'll lose Gunnar, they'll lose Fly. They lost Copy and he brought back to make matters worse. A pretty big fight here for BBT.
Yeah, it works out in their favor. Get perfect target to start on. Finding Copy in that smoke. It's a big target you really need to take care of. You can counteract two of your cores. It makes it very uncomfy for Psyka and for GPK to try to play their games if the Razor is just alive. So they just take that out of the picture, force the buyback, stall out this butterfly timing as well for Copy, just a little bit. And he's going to make things a little bit tougher in terms of trying to scale up. And for the side of Nouns, again, they've been the ones posturing, trying to play across the river, find these pickoffs. They might be a little bit concerned about scaling, especially since you're not going for like a refresh Razor, right? Like the butterfly will allow you to man up against a lot of these hits from BBT. And again, physical output of the troll and the monkey aren't necessarily going to always hammer in onto the Razor at that point. But it feels like the late game Razor threats from like refresh, double BKB, double static link, and just running around being a maniac, sapping away your core damage from that point. The butterfly is not that same play. I think this is much more tempo heavy on Copy, trying to utilize this early advantage, mid-game advantage they've built up of, and try to win a couple fights into endgame. If it falls flat here, that could give BBT a much better chance in scaling up, knowing that refresh is not going to be up for a long time with his build.
Another big smoke up here. BBT running right towards Copy. This will be a dieback on Copy if he does get caught out. It seems like they will avoid him instead, rather looking at Gunnar now down to that bottom lane, and they're going to find Fly instead. A little bit unfortunate. Oh no, they found both. Save will spot out Gunnar as well. That'll be a double. The 2-for-1 special. BBT, I mean, it's just kind of back to the farm game, I suppose, right? It's just no need to rush.
No.
They know what they're doing.
And they can keep that build up. Again, it feels like with the double core of Monkey Troll, you're kind of banking on your Razor to nullify these cores. Again, Copy going for the Butterfly somewhat counteracts them. At the same time, it only allows you to really focus one down. It gives a lot of leeway for either GPK or for Psyka, depending on who's not static link, to actually just play the game. You do have the full Abyssal Blade up on Yuma, so you can just stun up whoever's left alone and just try to focus one target at a time at that point, or just split the fight up. That kind of utility while the other core is trying to break static link. You have that kind of setup for yourself now in Nouns, but BBT have taken over on net worth, 4K advantage. Not the biggest lead at 35 minutes in. Nouns certainly not behind by too much of a margin here at the very least. Most of this net worth differential is coming from how underfarmed Gunnar is. Like, he has been a little bit more of the sacrificial off lane. Again, going for a hybrid ore build-up on Tusk. He's got the Dessa with no charges up. With the BKB, perhaps that's when he can start to get more charges in. Maybe even start to consider something like the Ags being picked up to try to reposition these heroes as well. Be one way for Nouns to simplify these fights going forward here.
BBT, they're posturing once again around this top lane. Maybe just getting set up for the next Roshan attempt. You do have Nouns grouped up as well. They are indeed just checking the Roshan pit here, BBT, just in case. The Roshan's still not going to even tell us when it respawns for another 40 seconds. There's your butterfly up on Copy, so we'll see if that does make any form of difference here in this next fight. So they are going to smoke up. The Narg illusions to come in. Copy will make it pretty obvious they are smoked though. Does BBT want this fight is the question. Fly will move forward. Miro, gonna break the smoke on Yuma. I don't believe Yuma actually saw him. They'll try to get some D wards off here. Miro, though, still frontlining for his side. Neither side wants to pull the trigger. We're just having a bit of a standoff here at this top lane, it seems. More wards placed here by BBT. Lasso, it's on an illusion. Unfortunate. It's alright, I mean, there's just so many illusions, you've got to try one of them. In goes Fly. Yuma, he's going to make the jump in. They'll try for Miero on the Primal Beast, but the BKB is already out, and now the Pulverize has been committed. Still Yuma having a decent old time, as now the song has been committed from Toronto Tokyo, looking to try and move in onto Copy, who's getting annihilated by Saika. There goes Gunner to boot. Both of them just destroyed, as everybody else from now is just trying to dissipate, but save. Continuing to chase Yuma, who does end up killing him off, but Yuma is certainly just set to fall. There is no help around. And an unfortunate fight for Nouns now as BBT finding a very good fight, and Roshan, it's up in 30 seconds.
It's a big timing for BBT, and that's probably the best way for that fight to go out for BBT, right? They use Lasso and an illusion, and I feel like that's Nouns' opportunity. Instead, it falls flat. Yeah, you get this big song to bail out. You get the isolation with Pulverize out onto the Ursa while he's BKB'd and committing. You static link the Primal Beast instead of any of the two cores. So Saika and GPK just don't care. And again, because Saika shoved in bot, it's going to be a really easy process to take care of these tier 3s. One fort already used up. Doesn't take too long for the troll to just clear these objectives by himself.
Max, Saika doing it himself. They'll jump in with the kick, or rather the punch. The battle trance was already there from Saika, is now, well, it's looking pretty rough for Nouns. They've already looking to lose Gunner, and they do. Saika barely survives all of them. The battle trance just in the nick of time here from Saika as Lelis is being hunted in his fountain, forced to back off. Bottom Rax is gone, and that's going to be enough for BBT.
Yep. Can go back, just take Roshan. They should know the spawn time is relatively soon. Saika's going to go back up top, check it out after clearing out some camps.
Oh, Yuma does clean up save. It's a nice little kind of pick off onto a straggler on his way out. It's just not changing the game though, is it? Like, you're 11k behind now as Nouns. You've lost to Rax. You're losing Roshan as we speak. And even though BBT just played a very, very slow game, it really has felt like they've been in control.
And it has. See if Nouns can find an angle in. They did smoke up here, but the smoke breaks under the Watcher.
Copy. Gonna get pulverized here by Miero, and it looks like his team was not really prepared for the fight, though he did at least get his BKB off. Still running. Saika, he's popped the battle trance, chasing very, very deep, but he's got the Aegis up. Not anymore though, it is down. Has Saika gone too far? Miero will try to jump in, but Yuma, he's right on the troll. Saika pops the BKB and tries to run. Even the song being committed, he'll survive, and now they're all locked down. The Onslaught in, the Ursa in huge trouble. Gunner indeed also in trouble. They both drop.
Oh, God.
A double kill for Miero. Copy to drop to boot. Miero getting tipped throughout all of this as they've even found themselves an Ench. And I believe I just saw Yuma buy back.
Yes.
A little bit unfortunate.
Very unfortunate for the side of Nouns. BBT, I mean, it almost looked like they were just losing their minds for a moment. Saika running forward, popping battle trance early, losing the Aegis just like that. You know, looking like he was getting impatient with this game, but it works out. Toronto Tokyo saves the day. Great song. You gotta love that. Naga Siren shards that, you know, when it was fresh, I was like, oh, it's a very fun shard. And, well, we've been seeing a lot of it over the years now as well. And that's just going to be straightforward high ground again. Saika's got the damage to dig through all of the objectives for the MKB. Last fortify to kick in here. At the least, mega creeps aren't going to be coming in, and respawns are relatively short. You should still be able to hold up with one lane to yourself here on Nouns. But BBT blow this game wide open, 11-19, 2TK lead up for themselves. And the side of Nouns, well, it's really rough for Copy, right? Like, he's running in, he's always static linking Miero, and he's not really able to focus down and try to find Saika, try to find GPK to static link to take out one of these cores from the equation. And that's where all these issues come in. Like, once they see that commitment onto Miero, GPK and Psyker are just like, all right, we'll go in. We've got damage. We don't need to care about Razor. He's not even, dealing with us. Well, what worries do they have if they're not static link targets?
That's a fair point, John. It has been pretty rough here for Copy. Not the ideal Razor game, that's for sure. Now a Swift Blink available on Psyker, so things got even worse here for Nouns as Copy's just being watched at the moment. They'll even beat. I say Swift Blink. Save just picked up an Aghanim Scepter. Double Lasso available. Up towards the top lane they'll go. Smoke on smoke scenario, but this could be Nouns' last team fight. If they can't make this one work, the game is basically as good as done. Lasso is out. Who have they caught? It's gonna be Lilith. Snap by it down. Miero, he's in. Copy. He'll be alright for now. The Pulverize was cancelled. Copy though, where's he going? The Razor, he'll head up north, but it's not the way to go. He is dead. Meanwhile, Gunner's just trapped in the tree line by the looks of it, as Yuma's going to try and force another fight, but really gets nothing out of it. BKB's being forced out, but it's not doing anything. Meanwhile, Gunner has been spotted on the tree line. Chase on. He'll blink away back towards the south, but Toronto's right behind him. Here comes Save to boot, and Gunner is gone. There's 2 down without buyback here for now.
Yeah. And that should just be the last hit of Rex to go here for BBT to take. Again, Yuma cannot afford to die. He bought back a while ago. He's going to have to try to just hold out here as Tree. I don't see the angle. I think without that...
So again, it's a double lasso. A double lasso from Save, and that'll about do it. GG is called. Nouns have seen enough. And, positive is Game 2 was a lot closer, but at the end of the day, BBT certainly proving to be the much better team here today, at least in their series up against Nouns Esports. And I'm sure they'll be leaving their room very, very happy after that one.
That they will be. Game 1, a little bit more, of course, of a complete stop. A complete shutout from BBT. Game 2 being a lot more even now to correct and draft. They had supports that could play the lanes a little bit better. Their lanes weren't completely washed out up against BBT. They weren't getting run down early on. You had the Snapfire on your end. You had this Enchantress buying space on Fly, getting that farm up. It's just, they were looking for the
I do like seeing the comfort. I do like how he played in this game, but it just was a bad hero. Like, there's a reason this hero's not picked in the offlane. I wanted to be proven wrong about that, but that's also kind of why I wasn't hyping it up too much in the draft.
Like they had a moment in the game where they were hitting a really strong timing. At 18 minutes, 17 minutes, they got Roshan, and Tusk kind of almost had his, or he already had his pipe at that point. And I just felt like they needed to use that momentum to kind of take the fight. Because instead, what happens is they got Roshan, and Razor had Manta at that point, but he chose to continue farming his BKB instead of like just playing around. So they didn't really use the first A gaze to do anything at all.
I fully agree. And then what happened was Copy was taking safe farm as well. Okay, this Razor was in his own try, and then you had the Tusk and the Enchantress and sometimes the Ursa in this more dangerous space. And BB team were able to get the pick off. They had the numbers advantage, and then you felt them just have to retreat. The Razor not joining to help try and defend and at least take some part of a fight. And so it was always a numbers advantage for BB team, and they slowly built up a lead to, okay, now the Monkey King is ahead of the Razor in net worth, and we're not really sure what else we can do.
I mean, from the Razor's point of view, he thinks that he needs Manta plus BKB to join the fights. But at the same time, when you're playing the game, you're not the only one in the game, and you need to look at, is someone else hitting their timing? I think with the pipe on the Tusk and the Aegis on the Ursa, they're hitting a really, really strong timing, and he's kind of wasting it by trying to get to his own later timing.
Yeah.
When they could have just taken control of the game at that point. Because their lineup, the longer the game goes, it's going to get harder and harder for them to deal with the troll and the monkey.
Right. That's what when it eventually started going the other way, that's what we saw in the fights. Even when Yuma had Aegis on Ursa, he was just getting kited by the troll, constantly dispelling his stuff. He was getting also broken by the Primal Beast, so he's not doing any damage in the fights. There was just a lot that was able to kite him. Whereas on the flip side, in the early game, Copy on Razor was countering the troll. Like, he was not doing any damage. He was getting fully linked for the entire battle trance. Like, the troll looked, it's like funny when you see a troll versus Razor, because you're just sitting there slamming and nothing is happening. Razor is just stealing all of his damage. But then that flips the other way when you get to the late game and the troll has burst, and when you have troll versus Ursa. So I completely agree. I think Nouns needs to go back to their fundamentals and work on those a bit. There's really nice glimpses of hope for them. Like, the game was very close against BB team, a very strong team, consistently like top 4 team. So there's glimpses of great hope, but they definitely need to, like, how do we close out a game, you know? How do we sync these timings up? They need to go to the fundamentals.
Yeah.
I wanted to highlight this real quick as well, the Troll versus Razor matchup. This is a matchup that's pretty good for the Razor, right? But this is 31 minutes in the game, and you have 2 items on this Razor, right? While the Troll is completely free farming, and you need more on the Razor to be able to counter him. So I feel like the Troll overcame his bad matchup just by having more items, right? And he's good versus the Ursa already, whereas Yuma, unfortunately, he's playing versus 2, in my opinion, hard counters. I feel like Primal Beast is incredibly good versus Ursa because his Pulverize goes through status resist. So even if you're enraged BKB'd, he's still going to control you that entire time.
That's a counter.
And then later on, he's going to get the Ags, which is going to break you, which makes you useless as well. So it was just a very difficult game for Yuma there, and you only had one bad matchup for Nightfall in this particular game, and they did a good job making sure this Razor didn't get too much farm. They got all the farm they needed on the Troll, and once Troll no longer cared about the Razor, it was a free game where Yuma, he had still so many obstacles to overcome, and there's only so much an offlane Tusk can do.
I want to do one special shout out to Toronto Tokyo. There was a really great play that I think helped the Troll. Was Toronto Tokyo essentially sacrificing his life for the Troll. He songed and he made sure that the Troll got his TP off first, and then he TP'd himself. Unfortunately, the song ended, and so he ended up dying. But that was really clutch, because not only did it heal up the Troll back up so he wasn't dying to the Razor ult, but I think that was enough for him to be able to reset, heal up a little bit, and just go straight out to farming again.
Yeah, not only that, in the team fights, I think he was really doing a really good job sending the illusions out. And he was kind of initiating with Deluge. He slows the target, and his team gets to the target. And that is why the hero is actually so difficult to deal with in the mid game.
Yeah, and I think that's also why we're seeing Naga getting banned out in every game so far that we've been able to see. Like, her contest rate right now is through the roof, and she gets let through, and we realize how much you're able to do in this impact from a position 5 there. So massive props to Toronto Tokyo, but also just BB team. I think getting off to a nice start for themselves, getting a 2-0. Now it's going to be a little bit more difficult for themselves, but we've got to keep the day moving. There's a lot going on, 3 streams at once, 5 best of 2s for our day 1 of group stage. So we're going to be looking at our next matchup. It's Aurora up against Team Liquid, and we actually got to sit down with one of their players. I believe it was 23 Savage.
Possibly the strongest SEA team, Aurora, is battling it out, trying to make a name for themselves. They've had some good results throughout the season, but have struggled to break into the top spots. But can they change that at the International? I'm going to find out with 23. 23, how's it going? How's your International?
It's been great. Denmark is really chill, and the weather is nice compared to my home, Bangkok.
Yeah, a bit cooler over here, I guess. So from your vlogs, it seems like Jabs and Sunby are kind of the leaders of Aurora. You know, they're very serious and analytical. Meanwhile, you have a bit more fun. You know, you're sort of the morale booster. Is that like a role you see for yourself, or is that just who you are?
I think it's just who am I. I just want to have fun in life because, you know, when I was young, I keep playing too much Dota and then we just stay in a room. And when I grew up, I found out that life is more interesting.
What do you think about the quieter members of your team, and you know, like, do you enjoy kind of like engaging with them and getting them?
Use the gate as much as we should, and our hero is not our style. So I think we stick to our style and the way we play, I think we can be more successful.
You've got the experience of, you know, Jabs and Sunby have been to so many TIs between them. I mean, how has their experience been for you guys coming into this one?
It really has nothing to do much with them. I think as for me, it's like, you know, the first TI you're kind of exciting because, you know, if you're a Dota player, it's always your dream. But after that, after 2-3 TIs, you're going to feel like not really feeling anything. Just want to play your best and don't regret anything.
For sure, but what would it mean if you were, you know, the first SEA team to win it all, to take the Aegis? You know, like, what would that mean for you?
Well, it would mean a lot, I think, especially for C scene. Everyone in C is going to play mobile right now, mobile games. But if we win, maybe people buy PC and play, I guess.
What's your favorite duo to run in the lane? You know, what's your favorite carry support duo you like to throw out?
I just like when he play ET, and then whatever I play, maybe I play like Morph. But his ET, I think, is one of the best.
Well, what about the Ringmaster hero? You know, we're seeing this guy all over pubs, but you know, what do you think about Ringmaster?
I think it's really OP. It's like fucked up because every spell, the lane is strong, and ulti is like broken. And I think when it came out to pick, everyone would pick it, if it's not nerfed.
Yeah, I feel like it probably will be by then. But you know, what about you? What's your favorite hero to play at the moment?
I really like Lina.
Lina. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of those heroes are kind of enabled by Gleipnir. Do you like the item, and do you think it kind of adds a new depth to carry?
Yeah, I think it's the carry now. I think it changed a lot from 3 years ago or like 4 years ago. Now the carry need to be able to see the game in the bigger picture and gank a lot, I think.
Yeah, you can't just AFK.
Kind of like a playmaker right now. So it's kind of like a mid, but in a carry lane. Yeah, that's what I do carry now.
Yeah, so would you say it's more balanced between, because mid's also kind of got a bit more carry-ish over the years, right?
Yeah. Mid is a bit carry too. So now carry playstyle changed. Yeah.
And how does it feel when you know, you take a step back and you can just kind of just be the active playmaker, and you know, your mid's just going and farming and hitting creeps when Lorenov's just farming? Well, how does that feel?
Okay, to be honest, at first it's kind of weird because I want to hit all the triangles and all the ancients. But you know, you just need to do what is easiest to win. So at first I'm not really liking it.
Yeah, but you've got into it now.
Yeah.
And of course, you've got a lot of relationships around scene. You know, you've been in a few different teams. You know, I know that you're quite close with Whitemon. Yeah, have you got a chance to catch up with him in Copenhagen yet?
Yeah, yesterday I was talking with Whitemon and Mikoto and my Talon ex-teammates.
Very nice.
So we were talking like 4 or 5 hours because we didn't see each other for like a year, I think. Last time we saw each other was in Seattle.
Yeah.
So it was really good catching up.
That's awesome. It's good to see you still have that relationship. And yeah, I mean, what would it be like? I mean, you know, Talon, if you had to face them in the playoffs, you know, what would that be like for you?
I would try my best to beat Mikoto. Because they won us in the TI quals.
Yeah.
And it was really butt-hurting for me.
So you would win?
I would win.
Good to hear, good to hear. All right. What would it mean like with these players especially to you know, make a deep run, and what's your expectations for the international?
I don't really have expectation. For me, I just want to do my best, and if I need to look back, I don't have to think that I need to play better or something. I just need to feel like whatever happened, I did my best. So
great mentality to have.
Yeah.
All right. 23, thank you so much for coming to talk to me, and best of luck at the International.
Thank you very much.
Hello again, I am here with Insania from Team Liquid. First of all, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Ted?
I'm doing well, thank you for asking. I will keep track of any other players if they ask how I'm doing. You asked, that's very, very kind of you. How old are you?
30.
You're 30, and how many TIs have you been to now?
Not that many considering my age. I think TI 9 was my first one.
Yeah.
And I picked the gyro, and then
famously.
decided...
I wasn't going to bring that up.
No, I mean, I do, so nobody else does.
Okay.
Yeah, so then I skipped TI 10 out of shame.
No, you did.
No, we didn't qualify for that one. Yeah, and then so 11, 12, and now 13. So 4.
Grimstroke. You are supposedly the best professional Grimstroke player. This is a statistic I got off the internet.
All right.
But I feel like some of these supports, like maybe Grimstroke and stuff like that, and maybe even Disruptor, are they still super popular? Because now it's all this Sven and Tinker and stuff like that. You're a support player. Have you now had to suddenly start playing heroes that maybe traditionally wouldn't have been considered supports?
Absolutely. Like, I've been playing Naga Siren, I've been playing Tinker, and then like sometimes I just look at our entire draft and I'm like, how is this like what Dota had developed to? Like when I started playing the game, it was much more clear like what a support was.
This is a support
and
hero.
what a core was. Yeah. No, times have really changed. And I know pretty recently, I think I said in another interview that I miss playing like the traditional supports.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind playing, like Lich every once in a while.
Yes.
And just,
Or Oracle, for example.
Being a Lich. Yeah. I don't need to stack 3 camps with illusions while like I'm like at the same time deluging someone and then netting them for 7 seconds and like you have to do all these mental gymnastics. I'm okay with like the boomer supports being good for a bit.
God, yeah. Do you think that because of the nature of like the whole facets and innates and that kind of slight power creep that we've seen in Dota, that essentially the idea of a 5 as being like this squishy but useful hero, that's gone? Or do you think it's just the nature of this particular patch?
I think it's very different. I think that really cool and interesting with facets is that Valve has opened up a way to diversify the game very quickly. Like instead of changing 4 spells, you can just change the facet, and now it's a completely different playstyle for the hero. And I think there's a lot of room for Valve to make that feature like one of the most hyped things about Dota ever. So I like it. I think right now we're in a place where it's still very fresh. And that's why you have some things that are maybe like a bit overtuned, or it doesn't really make sense to Dota in the long run. And
it's a little chaotic right now.
Exactly. And I think these things we should appreciate when we have them. Because I know like when I look back like 5 years ago, I'm like, oh wow, I really missed that thing with Coddle where you had the giant lamp around you and like it was daytime and you just heal everyone. I really missed that.
Right.
But it was also super broken.
Yeah.
So I get why they removed it. Yeah.
Oh man. So ahead of the groups, I want to ask you what you think of the other 3 teams in your group. Aurora.
So last year, Aurora was one of our toughest opponents, I would say. If not for Gaming Gladiators, I think they were like the team that we had the most competitive series with last year. So very well familiar with them. A lot of respect for that team. I think coming out of SCA and not having like the practice that we do in Europe, I think is quite a tough hill to overcome. And I think last year they did, and they did it tremendously. And I think this year they've kind of been struggling to find that form. But in my eyes, they're always quite a tough opponent. And yeah, I'm looking forward to playing against them. It'll be a good series.
What about Team Spirit?
So Spirit's one of the teams I think I respect the most, just flat out. I think whenever we are out of an event, I'd be the happiest if they won.
What is it about them that you like?
I think it's something to do with the way they play that is so different from how we play. And I just have to appreciate like the way they make it work. And it feels like something beyond maybe what I could create. If like I was in charge of a team, I don't know if I could make a team play like Spirit.
What about Beast Coast?
So Beast Coast is a rather new team. I think they did something cool this year where they like restarted the entire roster after having a very stable roster and with a lot of like kind of unknown players. But they decided to mostly stick with the same group of people and build the team. And this is something that I obviously am a big fan of. That's kind of how we made our team.
Of course.
And I have a lot of respect for that again. I really like that about them.
And you're confident going into TI?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the patch doesn't change much. And I think we were in really good shape for the past 2 events. And I feel like we've been working really hard, grinding a lot coming into this. So I have high expectations and high hopes.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, dude. That's a great answers to all my questions. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take it easy. All the best.
There might be a reason why Insania gives so much respect to Aurora, and it's because they've basically lost every single series they played in 2024 against them, or tied. Let's be real, or tied. 2 losses, 2 ties is not that bad. But we're going to see it here again. You are watching, of course, the group stages in the road to the international, and we have changed things up on the panel. I am Shiva, I'll be your host for the rest of the day, and I am joined by 3 fantastic human beings. And they're also very smart, so that helps a lot. Lacoste, how are you doing?
Smart and me in the same sentence. I don't know about that, but yeah, really happy to be here. We talked about us being on the panel. It's been the last TR's panel, like the grand final, so good to be here.
Good to be here, Effie. All smiles.
All smiles. I mean, it's TI, it's exciting. We just want to watch the best Dota. It feels like Christmas for a lot of us, and just happy to be here.
Give me the upsets. We've had none of it so far. I'm seeing gaming win. I'm seeing extreme win. I don't care right now. I want like the spice. Maybe our series becomes spicy because the morning, we got some Bristol 5. It was chill from Team 0. That's good. They lost though, but
they lost. They won one of their games against Falcons.
Yeah, but they didn't win with the Bristol 5.
An upset?
They didn't ruin all our pubs, Shiva. That's the thing. You can't win. No, you need to win with the strat to make it ruin everybody's day. And that's what TI is about, ruining people's days because good strats come into play that you weren't ready for.
Okay, well, when he's talking about ruining people's days, he means in-game and players.
Correct.
Because we're here to make your day so much better. And we're doing it by showing you a lot of Dota 2. Group stages are going on. There's 3 streams at the same time to be able to cover all the matches. And this is it so far. So we're kind of halfway through the day. We're 3 series still to go, and there are 5 series in total. So we're almost halfway point. So far, I think, Tigov, there's not that much that we can learn from the game so far.
No, not really. I think the contest rate, we've had, I believe, Sniper in pretty much every game, picked or banned. We've had Naga Siren there as well, Enchantress there as well. So we are seeing some heroes kind of rise up in regards to kind of tournament meta. But I am hoping now that we have another 3 series, there's so much to be presented, because if Sniper's coming out of places, Naga from, again, the pubs coming in, there's got to be some hidden gems that hopefully the teams this afternoon will show us.
Yeah, and what's coming this afternoon are the games on your screen right now. We got Aurora and Team Spirit at the very end of the day, Gaming Gladiators and Extreme Gaming before that, and our panel is kicking it off, Effie, with Aurora versus Team Liquid. A good one.
This is a really good one, Shiver. I mean, Aurora is one of those teams that you have to be excited to watch, because I always say there are 2 versions of Aurora, and you don't know which one you're going to get that day. There's a version that comes in and just owns every lane. They have a really clean idea of what they want to play. Then in particular, when Jabs has a good game, he pops off completely. But then there are other days, Lacoste, where it feels like there's no identity. They're running around like headless chickens. Jabs is on some insane hero, but either version you get is really entertaining.
Yeah, I really like the Jabs. When they are having a lot of success, this is when Jabs is now playing these offlaners that are super greedy, these pretty much carries from the offlane. The meta, since those days, has changed. I'm a little worried about Q, I'm going to say, because he's been known mostly. He's one of their best players. I also play 4, so I might be biased here a little bit. But the hero pool that he likes to play, all of these melee position 4s are not as viable anymore. It's mostly range position 4 with the position 3 melee, and most of the time you'll have some healer 5 paired up with the range carry. So I think they need to work on that, expand the hero pool a little bit. We don't know what they cooked so far, but this is the team that also can cause a lot of problems early on for some of the teams.
Yeah, for these 2 teams, I know were already 2 series early today, but Aurora and Team Liquid have not played today yet. So this will be the very first game, the very first series. We'll see what kind of Aurora will show up. But we of course know what kind of Aurora has shown up over the last season. Since TI, Aurora is a new organization coming on the block here at the end of 2023. They formed a roster. It's maybe slightly different than what it is right now. But TI, I don't think would you consider them having a bad year? Because it's pretty stable for a new team.
Yeah, I think especially because after the first couple of tournaments, that's when they picked up Lorinov, and then they kind of had their honeymoon period where everyone's like, "Oh my God, this could be the C team." And then, as you see from the results, it has kind of hit a little bit of a stagnant point. Like they still make it to, top 8, but then they don't have that extra little bit. And I would argue that maybe they're a predictable team. Like, we know that Lorinov is a star mid laner. We know that if he has a good game, the rest of his team rally in that aggression. If he doesn't have a good game, they can fall apart, and everything you said kind of exists, right? So maybe in their build up to TI, they've become less predictable and have more emphasis on other players.
Yeah, I'll agree with that they're very dependent on Lorinov's performance, where he is kind of snowballing off of this mid lane, where he'll farm up a lot that first 10 minutes, right? He'll do a bunch of agent stacks, and then he will move around the map explosively with his support. So if that can be shut down, that is probably Aurora's best strategy. But I do want to say that I don't consider them a newer team. I mean, this is the Talon of last year that had a very dominant run, with the exception of switching out Mikoto for Lorinov this year. But for the most part, they are experienced, and most people would have expected slightly better results. Like T said, they were at a lot of tournaments, consistently getting top 8, but not what they did last year.
They're basically entity of Southeast Asia, considering the results and how stable they are. They're always there, always causing some upsets, but unable to reach that top 6.
That's why I need them to make a good run. I don't want to see these usual suspects in the grand finals. I want some SEA magic in a TI.
I think it would be really good if we have one SEA team that is like consistently top 6. No, they don't need to win even from it. Consistently top 6 will be, I think, very good for the region as well, because it basically means that normally maybe there will be one extra Southeast Asian team making it to events. But we haven't really talked about their opponents just yet. Team Liquid, of course, now on your screens. They've also had a fantastic year. You saw they've got a lot of top finishes. And yes, they did win a LAN, but as we know, by their own website, it's not qualified as a tier 1 LAN. So I don't know.
It's their own website. They could change this to tier 1 tournament. Just go with it.
But they didn't. So they did not win a tier 1 LAN yet. And that seems to be a bit of an issue. Now, of course, there's a Team Liquid of last year did very well as well in top 6. But they did change it up a little bit, Lacoste, since then.
They did, yeah, with the addition of 33. This guy, when he joined, I think there were a lot of voices in the team, him being the captain as well, so they needed to get used to the new stuff. And he also, like, I think in current meta, he has his heroes that he's really good at, so I think he's gonna shine once again. These Visages, Beastmasters, they're gonna come out. And of course, Doom, he is the Doom specialist. If we go back to Riyadh Masters, this year, he was the one who kinda invented this facet from Doom, where he was selling the items constantly, getting the money back. I was talking to Fogged earlier today, and he mentioned that Doom, one of the games that he was covering, he sold Hand of Midas 11 times.
Min-maxing everything.
It's the same thing with like Refresher. Like, you can just go to buy Refresher, pop it, sell it again, and off you go. You continue playing. It's really annoying to deal with. And Doom, again, it's nice because you just get to buy any aura you want if you need it. You saw Amar do it in the previous game.
Yeah, and I think actually the one that you mentioned, Lacoste, since like when we saw them click really in Riyadh, I think that was the first time where we really saw them click since they have this particular roster. And I wonder if it has carried over to this TI group stages. We have not seen them play yet. We do not know. But the current meta, I think, Effie, is seemingly should fit them well.
Yeah, it definitely does for Liquid, because the thing about 3-3 is that I do feel like out of all of the offlaners, he is the one that hits his timings the fastest when he gets to play his signature heroes. And this meta has really just been, you get a couple of items on your offlaner, or you're waiting for like a blink from your offlane Sand King, an aura from your offlane Underlord, or what have you, an axe from your Beastmaster, and then you just take over the entire map. And that is what Liquid love to do.
I love these picks. So this is something that we've been trying to theory craft, how to utilize the Wind Ranger's damage with the Whirlwind. That was the facet that people didn't take until it got buffed. It got slightly nerfed in the last version of the patch, but it's still very good, giving you that extra attack range. And then with the Tusk, either you go with the drinking buddies, so you're getting a flat damage, or if you're going with the tag team where you're applying AoE slow to pretty much everything you hit, and you have a little bit of an extra save coming out with the drinking buddies as well if you decide to go with that one.
Yeah, and it's also just outside of consistent damage, it's just a strong lane overall, right?
Yes.
You just get the ranged carry plus melee support. and you always have that means to catch somebody with the ice shards. They fix each other's weaknesses.
Nice response though from Liquid, right? Because like Doom is quite an independent offlaner. Like once you get him to his levels, he can be self-sufficient, allow for the 4 to move. So you go for a Willow, and then like the whole point of Winter on a Tusk is chasing down the lane. Like utilize the fact that your enemy will be up by your safe lane tower, chase them down. Now you have Brambles to deal with. It's going to be obnoxious. Living armor potentially from the Treant from the other side of the map. Now you have these 2 supports fully remove a lot of the early game timings of Windrunner. Because I think in the I can't remember we've seen so much Windrunner today actually, but when you have the Whirlwind facet, you need to run in and out of the fight, utilize Windrun. If you get hit by one root, overgrowth, anything, you can't utilize that nicely. So it prevents Windrunner from feeling good. And you don't want, like you can buy Manta, but it's like you want to buy Gleipnir. Now you need a Manta and a BKB. It's like that's a lot of investment on your carry.
And the Lincolns, right? Because you're playing against Doom, which is conceptually why a lot
4 items to feel good in the game, yeah.
For Team Liquid, I like the response. Dark Willow and Treant Protector, as you said, root mechanic. This is something that Windranger does. You get hit by some like random bramble, you're most likely gonna die, gonna be followed up with the Doom, and also Treant Protector. Tusk especially, he doesn't like the root mechanic. Let's say he blinks in, he can't use the snowball because of the root mechanic, so it's quite difficult for him. But also this is the tank Cardell. We talked about it during one of the Dream Leagues, and this hero actually becomes super tanky early on with his item build. You know, if most likely it's going to be position 4, but it's still a flex pick, so they can keep it maybe played from the mid lane where you're building the Solar Crest, and super strong laner with his facet.
I love the fact that, so day 1, right, Sniper's our hero, right? It's been banned 7 times, picked 5 times, 100% contest rate, 40% win rate. I want this hero to keep losing so that we can talk about, remember back in day 1 of the road to the International, how everyone thought Sniper was the hero? Now, of course, it's very strong with the shrapnel, the instant damage you get, like it secures lanes, you buy Solar Crest, and you have Aghanims, like you provide a lot because you get to just win lane, and that's kind of what Dota's about, win your lane and take 20 kills in the first half an hour of the game. But yeah, so far, TI has not been doing too well.
But if you look at Liquid's supports on both side lanes, Sniper is a hero that excels against both. Their Shrapnel versus Dark Willow is really good because she suffers against ground damage, and her Brambles got nerfed overall, so she can be exploitable on lane. And if you were to put him against the Treant Protector, he also just out-trades him. He's one of the ranged heroes that just keeps clicking Treant Protector, doesn't make it easy for him to run up on. So they picked this Sniper for lane security, and they hope that they can give Windranger the space to farm the BKB to be able to fight, to run through these Willows, to run through the Brambles, to run through the roots.
That's why the Storm feels nice as well for Liquid, because if you have Kunko as like your front line, and then you have like good lanes, if Sniper can pair up with one other hero, 1 smoke or 2 onto a Windrunner, now you've killed her off, even though you have like this kind of concept that Effie's mentioning, if you just kill off the Windrunner a couple of times, then it's going to feel good. And you just need to ignore Kunka. Like this hero, he's gonna have like 2500 HP. He's gonna be Rum buffed, Admiral Rum as well. Like he's gonna be tanky as hell. So just ignore him, find other people, and of course, any Spirit hero will be able to do that very nicely.
My experience with Kunkka is this hero can be very annoying with the recent changes to how the hero works. He can be super tanky, as Dee said, but also a hero that if you kill like once or twice, his item build is gonna be delayed, and it feels like he's not gonna reach that point where he feels like he's still a strong, you know, team fighter with the pipe, with his bow.
Is it offlane Kunkka here, or?
Yeah, most likely. Okay. Then most likely pair it up with snipers, so you have the combo, keep them inside the shrapnel, with maybe some like earlier X on level 3, maybe even level 2. It depends how things are gonna go, so you can get the kills. Those shrapnels from sniper, they do hurt a lot, and I feel like Kunkka at the end of the tournament, I might be wrong here, but I'm gonna call it, is gonna be abysmal win rate.
So the way you all are talking about the draft so far, I feel like there's quite a bit of favoring Team Liquid's first 4 over Aurora's first 4.
Yes, I think Aurora needs to get out of the laning stage strong. This is something that they needed to work on for a really long time. Why the results were not there. Very late game oriented team. They love to drag out the games, of course, coming out from Southeast Asia, while Team Liquid also being early oriented team. These are the teams that do love to stack a lot, and I see Sniper, I see Kunkka, Windranger. These are the heroes that can invade Team Liquid's triangle and steal some of the stacks, because Team Liquid is the team that stacks the most.
I want Aurora just to have, like if last pick's their hero, I want Laurenov to have that kind of a little bit more explosive nature to them, because they don't pressure towers really. Their lanes, sure, with the Sniper can be good, the Tusk Windrunner can be good, but if the lanes don't go well, they never take towers, they never sweep across the map. It's just a lot of independent farming. Like Kunkka can gank, but you could also just farm 2 jungle camps in a lane, right? And that's where Doom should farm, Storm will farm, this pick for Mickey will also farm. It's a lot of just Liquid should get to 20-25 minutes and feel good in the game. That's kind of where the favor is lying.
Yeah, so I love this Razor pick from Liquid because it gives them that early game explosive damage from the safe lane that they needed. Because what I wanted to say was that I do think Aurora, at this point before the Razor had come out, did have stronger lanes. They had lanes that they could have taken advantage of the side lane heroes on Liquid, and then off of a last pick Lauren off hero, they might have been able to snowball before Liquid get to the point where their Doom is comfortably farmed, ready to play on that Doom, before Storm has enough items to go in and out DPS through the roam. But this Razor just creates so much issues right now for Aurora because it's going to out 1v1 whichever hero they last pick here.
Yeah, if you put Kunkka into that lane, it's pretty. So you can put Kunkka mid, but then Kunkka vs Storm, Storm will just farm. Kunkka doesn't repressure him. Kunkka to off lane. Now you're playing into Razor. That's something Liquid has done well throughout, the couple years that they've been as a roster. Is they always make sure they have multiple pressure points to the flex they're against. And here Kunkka is the flex for Aurora, and it is uncomfortable talking about the lane he has to go to, either or.
What about the sniper? Put him. I mean, sounded good for a second. Now it doesn't sound good anymore.
My farming sniper mid. My farming runner carry.
It's a bit too much. I think they have a big problem here. What they're gonna pick for the last pick. Usually there is a clear pick. Sometimes you'll see teams discussing a little bit, but I don't see this clear hero that's gonna be picked up. Mirana, she's fine. She's also a hero that builds into Gleipnir, so double Gleipnir now coming out from Aurora. They will have, also you have X into arrow combo, and you have something to break the Linkens.
It is
a mid sniper. Okay.
A lot of farm. Yeah.
I didn't think they were going to go for it.
So I actually think flexing sniper to mid was probably the best thing they could have done because there is no gotcha pick for this Storm on mid that they could have gone for here. And going for this Mirana, it gives them a little bit of that extra, like you said, Lacoste means to kill in the early game. You have the arrow into X combo, and then hopefully you roam off of that, you ball off of that Mirana. But is it good enough? I'm not feeling it very heavily, but it is interesting the direction that they chose to go with this draft.
That's a very diplomatic thing to say. Oh, it's very interesting the road you chose. Yes. In other way, you don't like it.
I don't love it. No, I'll say that I don't.
But maybe now extra pressure on Q. You said you look towards position 4. He got his Mirana, and we all know that Mirana right now.
Insane hero. This hero build, I think the best item build most of the time is drums into solar. You are buffing up your team and also having solar flare, which is insane amount of damage and the attack speed. So you're buffing up your sniper, you're buffing up your wind ranger, you have Tusk with the tag team as well. So the heroes are gonna explode. There's not gonna be that tankiness coming out from Team Liquid.
Well, we're gonna find out what's gonna happen in the opening game of this series between Aurora and Team Liquid. We're heading over to our commentary duo of B-Cop and Lizard.
Thank you very much. Coming in here with Lizard, we've got Aurora against Team Liquid. It's a last pick Mirana, and I want to hear your thoughts. The panel didn't seem too convinced.
Yeah, happy to be here, B-Cop, once again with you. I do think that Mirana was a solid pick just because the hero is really good, like panel talked about. However, they were caught out with this Razor pick. I really think that they didn't really have quite the best answer for him, and the lanes should be a little difficult for them to get out from. But the moment you get out of these lanes, like this, the Mirana ultimate, this Solar Flare, plus Wind Ranger, plus Sniper, heroes are gonna melt. I think Lacoste talked about it as well. Like, you have so much burst damage, so it's on Liquid actually to come out of these lanes really well, have the Storm jumping the Sniper, jumping the Windrunner. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we've been hearing a lot about Mirana and the Solar Flare. It's been pretty strong in the past. Seen a couple Razors so far, but it's yet to get a win. 0-2 so far, and just not exactly performing the way these teams that are trying to pick it up and use it. It's just not like it's not looking like the Razor we've seen in the past, right?
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, this hero for me is good in specific situations, but at the moment he's not like my top tier safe laner or off laner even. You know, I don't see anyone fighting over a Razor in pubs, and that's pretty much how I gauge if a hero is strong at the moment or not. Of course, there isn't really too many tournaments going on, and people are still testing a lot of stuff in pubs. So let's see. The lane itself, like, is the reason why they picked it. You are playing this Razor plus 3 end. There aren't many heroes that can defeat this lane.
Yeah, not exactly an easy lane to go up against, and we are taking a look over mid. Nisha against Lornoff here, and Lornoff, one of those players that I was really excited about when we were casting him, seeing him on Level Up. I was really excited, and now to see him on Aurora, he really seems to have found a home where he feels confident, and I just want to see what he does here against Nisha. It's not exactly the easiest matchup, but we'll have to see, especially with the static side of the Storm, if it's going to be too overwhelming for him.
Yeah, it's one of... I think that's... Actually, you mentioned Level Up, and I think he was in Serbia, I'm not sure, in one of the cities, Belgrade or Novi Sad, and that's how he even got into SCA, because one of these teams was screaming in Serbia, so... yeah, a bit of a story of his travels. You don't necessarily see these CIS players get into SCA very often. What's happening on the safe lane, by the way?
Couldn't name many others that made it from SCA or from CIS to SCA, but
Screen.
now,
I think he did it like a long time ago.
Oh, on a team outside of Screen Squad?
Yeah, I think he did. I think he played in one team in his career that isn't Screen Squad.
Yeah, because the amount of iterations of Screen Squad I had seen casting JDL back in the day is many.
Yeah, a lot of different players, very good tier 1 players went through that.
Seeing Mickey here up against Jabs on this Kunkka. Lacoste was in. He thinks this hero Kunkka is going to have a low win rate. Are you in the same thought process as him?
I'm not sure. Like I've played a lot of games against him with Kunkka recently, and the hero doesn't necessarily look that weak. This might be a bad representative game. Jabs, top lane.
Yeah, he might just be dead, but that arrow from Q might save him if they just can't keep up. But Mickey and Insania are still there to get this kill, and they'll get first blood for the side of Team Liquid.
I feel like, like I said, this might be a bad game to just make any conclusions of, because it's going to be really rough for him. You just don't want to be Kunkka in this game, and I guess what they have to do on top is start creep skipping. Like Q needs to perhaps already think of maybe getting some creep waves behind the tier 1 tower.
They're looking for Ollie for a second, but also just trying to keep that Lotus possession in their hands, and Boxy's going to be the one who picks it up. Dark Willow was a very popular hero throughout the year, and still seeing it. I mean, the whole year around. There are not many heroes that hang on through multiple patches the way Dark Willow has.
Yeah, there were a couple this year, you know, like Pangolier perhaps. Literally played through 18 patches in a row. No matter what they do to him, the hero has to be broken. But yeah, overall, Dark Willow probably one of those position 4s that's more or less always in the meta. Like Dark Willow, Hoodwink as well for a really long time.
Yeah.
We'll see what Boxy can do on the Dark Willow. I do think that there are stronger heroes at the moment on position 4. It's just that a lot of them have been banned out as well.
Stupendous. Yeah, definitely finding that a lot of drafts focus position 4s. A lot of these 4 heroes are making the difference in a lot of these fights, especially Dark Willow is one of them. Terrorize, Bramble Maze, very difficult to play around, especially in a team that might clump up too much and find themselves in a bad position. Say a good Bramble Maze comes out or they're hit by Terrorize. Gives them the opportunity to have a long duration static link or give the opportunity for Storm Spirit to ball lightning in. There's a lot here that kind of works in tandem together for the side of Team Liquid, but that being said, there's things that can really be put together well for the side of Aurora and their heroes as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Jabs in trouble again over top. He is getting body blocked here by Insania, but we'll get under the tower, so he will survive. Q now needing to run, but has 2 leap charges if need be.
Yeah, one thing that that Liquid do have is a lot of roots when you look at them. That's what you were talking about. Like you have these Brambles, you have Insania with his Overgrowth as well.
Yep.
And heroes on the other side that don't necessarily like to play into a lot of roots. At the same time though, not too many reliable stuns. Not too many ways of getting on top of targets and locking them down with a stun. So yeah, we'll see if Aurora can abuse that fact.
Yeah, that's a good point, because if you don't have the lockdown to, say, be on top of 23 Savage on this Windrunner, then you could be asking for a lot of trouble and allow him to kind of output that damage, which maybe makes me think that he's the choice one target for 33 in his Doom.
Yeah, yeah. But like, if you listen to the panel, like, they really, like, you could read it between the lines if you even had to go between the lines. They thought that Liquid probably have them out-drafted. And usually that goes back to, like, the playmakers. On one side you have this Sniper on mid lane, on the other you have Storm. Of course Nisha should have a better time rotating, creating space, right, than a Sniper. But at the same time, I think the real playmaker here should be 23 Savage. Like, you have this Wind Ranger from the safe lane. Like, he should be the one rotating around and making space, creating stuff happen. He does have this Whirlwind facet. It is useful, even versus a Treant, so... Yeah, I'm thinking he's gonna be the one making all the rotations.
Shackle. As Ollie's right in the face of Boxy, they lay down the Brambles, and they've got these shards in front of him. Goes to the Snowball. That connects while Boxy's in the Shadow Realm, and 23 even walking forward to try and land a power shot and maybe get a kill, but doesn't land it, and we'll have to just back off. And you're talking about Sniper, you know, potentially losing this lane over mid, but he's 45 and 10 right now.
No. Like, there's no way he loses the lane.
Oh, okay.
I didn't mean that he's gonna lose the lane by any stretch. It's just about what you do after the lane is done. Because some heroes naturally like to rotate, right? And just have it easy because of built-in mobility spells, high nukes. Sniper, like, you can play him as a playmaker, but most of the time, this is what you're going for. 2 raid bands, you're getting your power threads, maybe a Dragonlance afterwards. You know, you want to just sit back and enjoy your farm. Later on in the game, do you really bring the damage?
All right, I hear you. I understand you now. Taking a look, 1 Wisdom Rune apiece at the moment, and we have swapped over to the net worth, and it is that Razor. Top of the net worth, Mickey not really dealing with many problems in this lane, especially with the aggression that they put on a Jabs. Jabs, he's the one who's really struggling at the moment.
Yeah. What level is he? Not 6 yet?
No.
There is some...
4th of the way off.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, minute 8, he's played into Razor and Treant. Like, he's finding some farm, finding some XP. Mid lane.
Anisha was taking some damage, but now Ollie moving in, looking over to the Dark Willow. They go to the Brambles. Shards to block anybody from coming in, and if it were to be anybody, it would be Nisha with the Ball of Lightning, but you really don't want to go in like that, and all of a sudden, Boxy, despite having the high ground, is the one who loses that fight.
Yeah,
his life.
Lorenov, man, like, he is very farmed at this point in the game. He's dealing some damage if you get to him. Have you seen the other, by the way, the other facets on Sniper? Like, I've seen a lot of support snipers, like, in pretty high-ranked games. Like, there are a couple of rank 200 sniper spammers on 4 top lane, Jabs.
They're looking over as Mickey's gonna pop that ult, run down Jabs. Ollie pulling him in with the Snowball. Lornov's up here. They're gonna try and get the kill on Mickey. They'll leap in, Starstorm. They'll get the kill out of the Razor. Now they'll look for more.
Oh,
Ghost Ship comes across, and they don't even get the kill on a Jabs. He was quite low, but ends up surviving with the rotations coming through for the side of Aurora Gaming.
So many nice little things happened there. First, it was Liquid. Like, I'm gonna do a Kezu moment here. Like, who the hell fortified their creeps? That was so good, because the fortification prevented Kunkka from getting 6 as they're diving him. That's the first thing. And then, of course, the Drinking Buddy Snowball save on the Kunkka. And you know, I was talking about the Sniper and how he likes to chill back and just hit people. This is perfect for him. They initiate on you, you don't have to make a play, you just TP under your tier 1 tower and you hit people. Perfect execution for them, and it wasn't really hard to execute.
Lorenov not afraid to take fights. When we saw him with Level Up, he was playing pucks and everything that just wants to jump in and go. Meanwhile, they are chasing Ollie, and they're not going to go and get this kill onto this Tusk, so soon it's going to be Q getting that level 6, having that Solar Flare available, and all of a sudden these right clicks on Anisha, making him feel a little bit uncomfortable, but he survives it all. And you'll have the Walrus Punch as well. So
was that 3 hits, by the way? I'm sorry, Bikop. Was that 3 hits that brought him to half HP?
Yes, it was. Warnoff's putting in the little shots here and there. He knows he may not get the kill, but as long as he's safe, he's gonna try and lower the HP a little bit, right?
But okay, now I've been completely advocating for Liquid and how they can jump people. But if this sniper is left unchecked, like, it's only Storm that really does it. Like, your Doom is buying Midas. Treant isn't really gonna get his Blink Dagger fast. He needs like a shard and then a Blink Dark Willow as well. Razor is usually a hero that's far from the sniper, and snipers enjoy playing into Razor. Like, this could be one of those free sniper games.
So far, kind of looking like it. I know we're just 11 minutes in, but I feel what you're saying. He's top of the net worth, and it's a lead that is extending quite a bit. And compare him to Nisha, who's kind of there with the Kunkka, right? Not exactly looking too good.
Not like, he tried to make a couple of rotations, they didn't work out. He didn't die, but he didn't farm during that time. So let's see, bot lane.
Real good read of the map there.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Real good read of that situation, TPing away from a lot of these Liquid heroes who don't get their hands onto the Windrunner. They will get their hands onto the tier 1 tower though, so at least they get a little consolation prize.
By the way, can we talk about one item? Like,
Sure.
I didn't hear the panel mention too much, but these arcane boots, man, like, who was it? I think it was Jenkins that talked about items that are good in the meta and Greaves and stuff, and how they make the heroes broken, not necessarily the heroes themselves. Like, arcanes are built by Lina, by Windrunner, by almost any popular carry at the moment, and they just make your lane so much easier. You get them so damn fast after a couple of waves, and then suddenly your position 5 or 4, whatever, can just dominate, because he has infinite mana. This item is definitely something that needs to be looked into.
I definitely agree with that, because you see a lot of supports too also get arcane boots, and then you're just never like just the core alone getting the arcane boots, like you said, is enough.
I'm fine with supports. It was always a support or maybe offlane item, but the carry buying it, that's something is sus there. leave arcane boots to us at least, you know.
That makes me feel good to give mana, but when I'm receiving mana, this is like, even better. My carry does care. Ooh. Big stacks being taken from both teams. McKay's got this blade mail. He activated that to try and take this stack a little bit quicker. Meanwhile, 23 Savage over here with jabs to try and get the stacks to themselves. Warnoff even shows up to take a couple of last hits.
It's a pretty good blade mail game, right? Like, you are playing this Razor who isn't necessarily always the tankiest, but you pick up the blade mail, you have something to deal with 23 Savage, with Sniper's damage as well. And basically, this is the name of the game for Liquid. What you want is, you want these armor items that deal with snipers, with Wind Rangers. So you're gonna get armor or some damage blocking, right? Like, you're gonna get blade mail on Razor and Doom. Yeah, of course, Crimson Guard queued up by 33.
33 wanting that Crimson. We'll see how quickly he gets it. Meanwhile, Warnoff finishing off a pretty early Hurricane Pike. He's got 21 charges as well. This kind of feels like a time maybe Aurora want to smoke, and they'll do just that. They kind of grouped up. They've got that Hurricane Pike ready for the sniper if he needs to kind of get out of some harm's way, out of some bad positioning. And wonder if we see them maybe get a catch onto McKay, but he's deep inside the Dire side in their jungle. Not really much to really look at here in terms of getting a kill with this smoke just yet. The only one who's potentially showing is 33 down bottom, but he's not an easy kill either.
Yeah, he's not super tanky at the moment, but he's still probably the tankiest on Liquid. And this is the kind of an issue that they've got. Like, this smoke, if you're smoking with Wind Ranger, I think it's easier to invade the enemy jungle, the enemy side. If you smoke with this sniper, he's a honeypot. Like, he has so much gold and net worth, you don't really want to go behind enemy lines with the jabs.
Oh, Lightning, they're going for jabs. Ghost Ship coming through. He does not have any help at the moment, and let's see. All Lightning's away. Now the Tusk there to help. Has that Snowball, pulled him in with drinking buddies. Snowball's away, Jab's trying to get out, hit by the Terrorize, ends up falling, so they will get one, but there's Warnoff getting a kill, and there's your prime target for the Doom. They'll get it on a Warnoff. Now they've got the Electric Vortex to pull him in. The Overgrowth from Insania locking in 3 more of these heroes. They should be able to get Warnoff. They will. They'll find themselves Q as a third, and they'll chase after 23 Savage, who will win run and try to get away from this. But Nisha with his last bit of mana, Ball Lightning forward. They've got the vision. The Chakra Shot's not going to be enough. And 4 heroes are dead on the side of Aurora Gaming. Just like that, Liquid, they open the game up and they take advantage of a big move over bottom.
Damn, like, even if they had some sort of an advantage, it's definitely gone right now. Like, Team Liquid are in a comfortable place in this game, and it all comes down to being stretched out too thin. Like, they went all the way to that Twin Gate, and not everyone was there. Like, Windrunner was missing, like, your sniper has to go too deep. Like, there are so many sides from which you can get attacked there. Let's say they take that fight in their triangle, where they can set it up properly. It never looks like that. Never. But if your Doom can get on top of Sniper, even without Blink, like, you're probably in a bad position to start it off with.
Liquid, just like that, they get themselves a little bit of a lead, 3,000 net worth ahead. Lornoff, he felt confident. He's got that farm. He felt himself doing good damage throughout the first 15 minutes of the game. But Aurora just, they ran out of steam.
You're still a sniper. You want to keep your high ground. You want to use your facet like this ghillie suit. You want to keep distance from the enemy heroes. I think what baited them the most is the fact that they committed on Kunkka, right? Like, they committed on jabs a lot. So you see that, you're thinking, okay, if they used everything or a lot on Kunkka, we can take this fight, but yeah, they just got out of position.
See how costly Doom on Sniper is gonna be. My assumption was just throw it on 23 Savage, but when you see the Sniper, like you said, that honey pot, ready to just take all that honey away, and why not throw it on Lornoff and just get that kill?
Yeah, absolutely. Later on in the game, different targets might require Doom as well. Like someone like Kunkka even might be good, or Windranger. But besides Doom, by the way, we talked about Blink Dagger. Look at Darkwill, look at Boxy, like 1400 gold already. He's going naked Blink, basically. Brown boots, magic wand, straight into Blink. And I like it because we talked how they need someone else to jump in with Storm, and he's gonna be the one.
Trying to find the positioning needed to throw a solid Terrorize maybe into some Brambles. Because that's what kind of started it off, right? The Terrorize ends up getting the last little bit of control that they needed to get jabs. Also hit Lornoff. They were able to jump in a little bit further forward to make sure that they can lock onto those kills. So having that Blink Dagger soon enough, which now queued into a Smoke of Deceit, not on the Blink Dagger anymore for Boxy, but we know what he's going for. We'll see when he gets that, how much it's going to affect these fights even more for Aurora. That might make it more difficult for them. They're trying to farm their way towards the top of 23 as well as Lornoff, but it's not so easy. You know, you see Mirana on the lineup. Maybe if you haven't seen a little bit of Dota recently, you're thinking, all right, Moonlight Shadow and go fight. Well, he's got Solar Flare. It's not the same way.
Yeah, it isn't the same way, but it's also really damn good. Like, Mirana has so much impact, especially now that you've got these two heroes that benefit from that ulti so much. I've seen a lot of this SF plus Mirana as well combos, Dragonite plus Mirana, and these kind of heroes. They're literally, they just park their truck and they hit you. It's tower-esque heroes, and Sniper is probably the best at that.
And not as tall as a tower, but hits like one.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a small tower.
Alright, a little long duration arrow onto the Dark Willow, but no jump.
Shoot arrow, hit arrow, doesn't really matter because this Doom has a pipe, a Crimson Guard. On top of that, he's got living armor, good luck taking that big boy down.
Dire's bottom tower.
Yeah, 33 doing a little bit of his own Aurora gaming. So BKB for Razor. That's next on the docket after this Manta.
Are they gonna steal this? Like, they're aware. They're aware. This is a smoke. This might be a good fight for Aurora.
They have to be willing to make that jump. They'll go to the Shackle, connects onto the back, onto the tree, and they'll go after this Razor. Mickey with a blade mail, though. 23 Savage is gonna be dead first. They assassinate, they get the kill on Insania. They'll take out the Tree Protector. The Terra is going to be throwing that lens onto the Mirana as well as the Kunkka. The Ball Lightning in, the Doom onto this Lorinov Sniper. They get the kill there. That's 2 heroes dead. They didn't even get the Razor after all is said and done. They have the X, they have the Torrent, but 33, like you said, Wizard, he's tanky. The extended shards.
I mean,
it's still not enough.
Yeah, that was funny, I guess.
I can't do anything.
Well. Yeah, half of his HP is gone, and he managed to get away. Did they get at least they got the Tormi. The Tormentor goes to Oli, but that was such a... Let's not say bad fight for Aurora. Let's say just very good execution by Liquid. Storm Spirit jumped the backlines. He prevented them from even hitting the Razor, so it was literally only 23 Savage hitting him. And he was kind of hitting himself because he died from that Blade Mail. The Razor Blade Mail 5-head itemization. Definitely working out.
Yeah, it delays the BKB, but who needs it? You've got the Blade Mail. Helped him farm, it helped him win that fight. Mickey doesn't even die there. And they will get the kill on the Q. That is over mid. And we're starting to see what you kind of alluded to in the early game, right? Sniper wins the lane, but Nisha's the playmaker, and he's doing a lot of it.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of that, and I'm a little worried for Aurora right now because they should be shining in these fights.
Right.
I really think that this should have been their power spike because they need to fight before the BKBs are up on Liquid. You are playing with a Kunkka offlane. This hero falls off once BKB is hit. And if you look at Liquid, I believe all 3 cores should be buying them. Now, Storm Spirit is queuing up his one. He just needs like 500 gold. Razor, I believe he's got his BKB flying out to him. Maybe Doom won't get his, but, you know, he's unkillable anyway. He doesn't care too much.
So BKB is there now for the Razor, and it feels like with the net worth lead that they have right now, they're kind of free to get this Aegis and then fight on their time.
Yeah, pretty much. I feel like once you get this Aegis, you can even start pressuring things. There is one aspect of Aurora that's really strong, and that's high ground defense, right? Like you can hold your high ground pretty damn well with the snipers. So we'll see if maybe that's gonna be the play for them, but maybe I'm being too pessimistic. Maybe they can still take these fights head on.
It's always tough to go completely through to the high ground against the sniper, so we'll see how they approach it if they want to do so with this Aegis. They're still tier 2s though, so it's not even thinking high ground just yet.
Smoke up, they're going in. Usually you smoke up when someone takes this Roshan. The first one, the second one, doesn't matter. You smoke up and you try to catch one of these stragglers. Heroes that didn't go back together with the team. Because while you're taking Rosh, what happens? Your lanes get pushed in, so someone needs to fix that. You see a carry TP out, then you strike and fight.
They've got the X, but again, can they get this kill? They'll go to the Terrorize. Yes, they will. No help from the side of Liquid. They let Mickey die. Thought maybe that X is just going to be a little bit of messing around, but they weren't playing.
Yeah, he wasn't able to get out. That Tormentor that Oli got, those ice shards, extra deep. Very nice.
Never really had a chance for the BKB either, and holds on to that 9-second BKB for what should be the next fight. But a really good job there, knowing the balance of everything for Aurora, right? Knowing that you've got all 5, even if it's just an innocuous arrow into an X, or X into an arrow, you still have Lorinov, who is spitting damage.
Yeah, he's still very damn strong. He is farming under vision. And they are collapsing. Look at Storm Spirit, look at Nisha. Olorinov. This might be bad.
Yeah. They're gonna ball lightning and the jump forward. They've got the root. They'll have the damage. They'll get the kill. They'll even doom jabs afterwards because they have the damage to get the kill on Olorinov. Shards will keep Liquid away, but it's what we were talking about earlier too. Boxy's got that blink dagger. He's able to make a jump like that. He's the one who really initiates for him, and they get a kill onto the sniper.
Yeah, the brambles perhaps weren't fantastic, but yeah, you got the job done. The ward was really what made all that happen. The ward scouted sniper, and because they knew exactly where he was, they could set up the fight properly. Doom has been expanded though. So.
Yeah, but it's still tough to fight in even without the Doom being available. They've got a minute and a half to do so. Really, a minute 20 once Sniper is back up. They're going to lose this mid-tier 2 tower.
See, will he buy another Midas? What do you think? On Doom. I swear this is how the bugs began.
With just that facet?
Yeah, like it broke Midas. He's bought and sold his, like, what, because of this facet, I think like 3-4 times already. Buys it,
it's good value.
It is, of course. Like, you can use it between items, and then when you get enough gold, just...
Need a neutral, buy a Midas. Sounds a bit ridiculous when you just say it as it is. Need a neutral, buy a Midas, you know, just casually. But then you do the trade-in, like we used to do with our physical copies of video games. Hey, how much can I get for this? We'll give you 90% for it. All right, I'll take it. Cash or credit?
Yeah, that didn't exist in Balkans. You go to the flea market, you buy like the CD that has 30 different pirated games.
All on one CD? That sounds like a deal.
Yeah, of course. Some of them are in some strange languages, but what can you know, you can't choose.
Q. Yeah, and Ollie, actually. Q's gonna die here. They'll find Ollie, and now, drinking buddies down to the creeps, but can't escape.
Yeah, drinking buddies are amazing, by the way. It's a pretty cool facet.
After that kill, though, they're right back towards top. Look at this. They're right on a 23 Savage. They're going to throw the ghost ship out, but the ball lightning sticking with 23 Savage. He's got the BKB trying to run back to the base with the whirlwind. They'll get the kill. They'll look over at Jabs. They'll pop the blade mail, but 33 is going in. Look for the Doom. It was looking at Olorinov, who's trying to defend, but with this Crimson, his shots are doing no damage to the Doom. He'll take the Aegis out of the hands of Nisha, but he'll be full health, full mana, and Olorinov, you might even want to be careful about where you stand when he's back up. Instead, he'll ball lightning back towards the tower, and this is going to be a tier 3 in trouble.
Yeah, they just tried fighting without Mirana, without Tusk. Of course, it's not going to go that well for them. And Nisha, he actually just wanted to go in and die. He had this Aegis for 20 more seconds, and that's basically perfect usage of the Aegis. Let's see if Sniper can defend this. Doom is not online.
Get the top set of racks. These right clicks are doing no damage to Doom.
Sania?
Sania's taking a lot more damage than the Doom is. Not sure he can match or mirror the positioning of 33 when he's doing that. But now it's a 16,000 net worth lead here for the side of Liquid. And
it's a good position to be in if you're a Liquid fan right now. Not so much for Aurora, but Olorinov is having so many issues.
Ball lightning Olorinov. Vortex, drinking buddies, pulling him in. They're going to try and get him out, but they've got the kill on Olorinov. He's dead for 60 seconds. They'll buy back. They'll follow it up with a kill on Ollie. They'll take out the Tusk, 2 dead on the side of Aurora. And back on the docket is the buildings and the objectives. How do you defend?
How to kill anyone? It's like you have these heroes that are supposed to be buffed up by Solar Flare, and they're supposed to be like just destroying instantly eliminating one target, right? But you're playing into a Doom with a bazillion armor. You're playing into a Dark Willow with Shadow Realm. She doesn't care. Insania, Living Armor, and Ghost Invis. And Storm Spirit, you just don't have enough lockdown for him. So, yeah, it's really difficult position to be in.
You know, one team's working with real damage, and the other team's using nerf. And it's nothing, so they're gonna lose 23 Savage.
I'm going anywhere. Oh, wait.
And it's almost a 23,000 net worth lead for Liquid.
Is that the goal? Like, versus 23, is that?
You just want 23,000 net worth, and then you objective complete. You're good.
Yeah. The game default just ends right there.
I've seen it happen before.
Yeah, I don't even see what item really changes things here. Like, all the items that Aurora are buying are these items that are... They're not really items to deal damage or kill someone. They're more of the items that you need to even play the game. Like, Windrunner, Manta, okay, it's not bad on her, she's universal, but not necessarily the item that's the best for her. But you have to have it versus Treant. Sniper BKB
connects
as well.
And you're looking over at Mickey, but the BKB is going to be popped here by the Razor. Nothing more doing for the side of Aurora. And they thought that maybe they could have got Mickey there. It forced this BKB, but like you said, they're just lacking the damage.
Yeah, at this point, if you're Liquid, you have multiple options. You can wait for this Doom and just try to end the game with it. Or you can wait out the Aegis and go for it next. Because this last side is always the most difficult one to take. Let's see, Smoke up, 23.
We'll search, but nothing showing up. Scan doesn't connect, and a mic time where the last fight for Aurora is at the next Roche.
It's going to be a very hard one. Insania?
Wait, near Dust, they found him. Nikke even thinking about going in. He doesn't exactly have that BKB for another 30 seconds, but 33 with the Shivas. He'll pop that. They'll solo up Ollie. Ollie on the run. Static Link is there. Ollie pushing him back with a Psychic Headband, but now the ball ending in from Nisha. They're going to go and find their attention on the 23 Savage, as they will get that kill onto the Windrunner, go to the back lines, find themselves Q, 2 gone on the side of Aurora. And Team Liquid, even without the BKB on Mickey, they're just so far ahead where it doesn't quite matter.
And Insania is always happy to take these kind of ganks. Like, he tanks it, but his team, because of that, takes the fight and possibly now gets mega creeps as well.
Lightning all the way across to Warnoff. And he is so dead. They'll call GG, and Team Liquid with ease have won game number 1 over Aurora.
Right, it's not... what was that game, 21? Like earlier today, it wasn't a stomp that was as hard as that one, but this is... Yeah, this is a difficult one. Someone is getting reported. I'm not sure who it is, but it's a rough game for Aurora fans.
Yeah, it's you who's getting reported, but it looked good in the laning stage for a little bit, right? Like, Lornoff did well against Nisha, but we spoke about it. You brought up the point where it was just like, can they keep holding on to a good laning stage? They don't exactly have the initiators, and Nisha showed that he was the one ready to go. So they took game number 1 for Team Liquid. We'll get more from our panel, so guys, take it away.
Thank you very much, VCup and Lizard. A tough one for Aurora fans, but I think a lot of Team Liquid fans are having a little bit of a, I would almost say that they're happy, but a little bit of a sigh of relief, because you never also know what type of Team Liquid comes showing up on day 1 of the event, the cost.
That's also true. Sometimes they can be a bit of a slower team, adapting to certain things. Always there's some drama, whether they're going to get out of the groups or not. But Team Liquid, they seemed very well prepared in this one. And this is a fight that is going to kind of say in which direction the game is going to go. I'm looking at the positioning from Insania. He's sitting inside the trees this whole time, throws in the blood grenade, very patient. Overgrowth is ready. So what he's going to do is he's going to land a 4-man Overgrowth, nice terrorize as well with some brambles before that, then also Doom. So very nicely played team fight coming up from Team Liquid. This is what their lineup is built to do.
Yeah, and also the positioning from that Storm Spirit on Nisha, right? He zips in to start the fight, zips out, kites out a little bit, waits for the Dark Willow terrorize, and then goes in. And all he had at that point was a Kaya, but they were also pairing it with the Living Armor. So they had the Living Armor on the Storm, who was zipping in and managing to live through these fights because of that and do the initiation they needed. And in this fight in particular, Liquid are doing the Tormentor, and Aurora wanted to fight back here, T. So 23 walks in, gets the Tormentor kill with Whirlwind, but also dies.
Yeah, I mean, they have no front line. That's kind of the key issue here. Like, you're playing into a Doom.
Hey, you're saying Tank Cardell is not a front line?
I mean, they need more. You need multiple options here, boss, and right now they don't have it, right? Like, we already said that they don't really crush the towers. They kind of did lack a little bit of damage after laning phase, and when you see like the fights, it's just Liquid. They're comfortable. They see exactly what needs to happen. They hit the timing, and then when they go to a big fight, like again, Roshan, like 24 minutes before that, Kunkka steps up. Okay, you've got a Doom on your face. Someone else steps up, like a Tusk. Okay, you've been Bramble mazed, or you've been, terrorized. Like the whole foundation of Aurora's draft is built around. Let's not take a crazy game-ending fight until 25 minutes where we all have BKBs and Mjolnirs and everything's tickety-boo, and then no, that's not going to happen. They need a little bit more early game to even get close to Liquid.
And the story of the patch, even with the C letter patch, is auras, right? You had the Doom who built Crimson Guard and Pipe.
It was riveting, wasn't it?
Yeah, this aura meta is still in full force, it seems like. And they had this idea with Mirana where they would press Solar Flare and then the Wind Ranger and the Sniper would amp up, but the Crimson Guard just eliminated that entirely. And then you run into the issue where your offlaner on Doom has auras and the enemy offlaner doesn't have auras, or the other way around. How do you fight a team with auras when you don't have them? Kunkka went for that blade mail into Ags and it didn't work out, Lacoste.
Yeah, as I said before, like Kunkka is going to be the big bait, I feel, of the tournament. Like right now, a lot of the offlaners, they don't feel good to play. There are certain like top tier offlaners, and we're going back to some of the old offlaners. We've seen Team Falcons, now we're seeing Team Liquid going back for Doom because he can get that money back. He can pretty much buy anything and it feels good on the hero. We'll also in the heal meta with all these position 4/5s getting a lot of heals, and he's going to stop that with his Doom. So I think this hero's stonks are going to be on the rise throughout the tournament.
Now, we did say that even though we favored Team Liquid's lineup, the thing that we thought Aurora was going to do okay in was doing well in the lanes. What about Team Liquid's lineup, Effie, went wrong for Aurora that didn't happen?
Well, Aurora did do as well as they could in the lanes. Like, their Sniper had a great laning stage versus Storm, which is expected, but then Storm hit 6, and the Sniper's threat kind of erases from the map, and they did win the side lanes as well as they could, but like we mentioned, all it took was one successful fight from Liquid when they were ready to put the pedal to the metal, which is when Storm got the Kaya. They blinked in and they had that fight bottom, and that just blew the whole map wide open because you can't really recover after that because you can't do as Aurora what Liquid did to you. You can't take that one fight where you just dominate them. You're just kind of waiting and hoping your Wind Ranger gets farmed enough to run in for you.
Yeah, and we got our standout player. I think it must have been a tough choice because Nisha played very well, as we said, that mid lane. Definitely the moment he got level 6, it made a difference, and he did not die. But the other side, I feel like we have to address the elephant in the room, T, because there was one hero that was first. Hey, that was the other one I was going to say. There was first phase picked, you got the Doom, overall first picked, and it just felt like he was not addressed at all. He had the freest game, crushed it.
Yeah, I apologize to all the fans for this TI. It is going to be potentially a Doom TI. Again, we're on the road to the International, so we still have some days before we get to TI, but I am looking forward to having to talk about a hero that buys Midas, buys auras, and then exists.
Wow.
Well, he didn't buy Guardian Greaves. That's the only thing that is missing
room
from
for
his inventory. He could improve that coming into the second game.
Yeah.
That's the one that got nerfed, the mech. Maybe it was like...
No more healing needed. No more healing from me, please.
Yeah, we needed a harsher nerf on the bans, on the auras, sorry, but yeah. I think, again, Liquid played very well. Draft strategy, it was very much Liquid, and I would argue you have to think about Doom, especially with like the teams like with 33 on it. So yeah, respect Doom. Have a bit more pressure from Aurora, please. Like, your lanes go well, and then you just see Storm farming jungle uncontested. That you have Tusk, you have Mirana, but there's no other hero to go into the jungle, to do something. I want Aurora to be active, and they were very passive, so more fight, please.
Do we feel then this result and the gameplay that we saw was a result of the draft?
Yeah. Yes, it's easy to say that, you know, they lost the draft, but this one, I liked their draft until they started to overcook with this, you know,
So you like
first of all,
3/5 of the draft.
3 first picks were fine, and
you
then Kunkka came in, and they then shifted Sniper to the mid lane, and it was way too much. First, they're gonna lose they don't have enough damage with this Mirana and Kunkka to kill Treant plus whoever is in that lane, because it's just too much. You don't have early damage to deal to go through that tankiness of Treant Protector, and later on. Like this Sniper, you don't have any form of initiation whatsoever. He wants to farm. Same goes for your carries. And also Kunkka, like he could be the one, running across the map, maybe setting things up with the X into arrow combo, but there was just not that happening. And also what the hero wants to do, he wants to clear some of the stacks, because that's what the hero does really well. And you get to your item timings, and also what Effie pointed out, I want to see the auras from the offlane Kunkka. I think Blade Mail is also a big bait, because this item has been nerfed heavily. The cost has been increased by 200 gold, and I think you need to shift your items around.
Easy fix, just fix the draft, and then the play was there. Effie, you agree?
I agree, because I do think their early game went well. Like, they played the lanes well, and they did have a lot of, like, farming that was going on before the map was blown wide open by Liquid. I think the biggest issue here was that when the Razor came out last, they didn't have a good solution for the Razor. So they just figured they'd pick Mirana, and they would just Solar Flare through the static link, right? Mirana's going to give the damage that was taken away from the static link to their carries, and they would pop off after that. But that's just too... It's too inconsistent of a means to approach the Razor, because what happened is that they had to put Sniper mid, and then they didn't have a hero to play off of on Lorinoff. Aurora typically do well when Lorinoff is on like Pango, when he's on Puck, when he's running around as part of their 3-man ball, but Sniper cannot do that inherently.
Now what we do know about Aurora, they've had an okay year, a year where they made it to a lot of events, and they come top 8 regularly. But one thing that stands out, if you watch Aurora play, even in the games or series that they lose, they get games off of most of their opponents. In group stages, they will tie almost everybody, and even if it goes to a third game, they'll make sure that, well, if there's a best of 3, they'll make sure they have one game there as well. So I think if there's any team that can learn from this and come back very strong, it would be Aurora.
Yeah, I mean, they have Sunbeam as coach. Like, they have, plenty of experience. I was going to try and use a bigger word, but I was panicking on the stage. I won't use a big word, but it doesn't matter. Thought I'd just share my thoughts with you.
Platora? What do you
Yeah, but I just didn't want to butcher the pronunciation of Plethoric or whatever it was. Anyway, but yeah, they got like strong coaching. They have the ability to do it, but it kind of baffles me a little bit that like we know how Liquid plays. Like Liquid, BB, these type of teams, it's strong lanes and just outplay and dominate your opponent. Like, why is Aurora coming into this game 1 presenting Liquid with, hey, beat us in lanes and do this? It's like, do you need to lose a game on LAN to then adapt? So that's maybe Aurora's
They want to make sure that it's not working in game 1.
Yeah, exactly.
I like their idea.
Are they still playing like this? It's been a couple years now. Just need to double check for the 20th time.
Does our old style still does not work?
Big overthinkers in Dota.
Yeah. And that's kind of what happened here. Like they overthink, they cooked a bit hard, they flexed a Kunkka into a Liquid that likes to pick Razor and stuff. So I think this next game is kind of the reality check for Aurora. They are going to wake up, realize what they're playing against, and I would like to think it's going to be a much closer game.
Me too, because on one side you've got Aurora that generally does well in their game 2s if they lose game 1. Team Liquid has a little bit of the opposite effect, where if they win game 1, they're like, oh, we got this, guys, and they play maybe a different style, and they normally go to a third game as well, Effie. So this one might be just a flipped switch.
It might be, because like you mentioned, Chiefs, Aurora do take games off of almost every series they've played this year, and not just that, even the games they lose tend to be competitive when they're in good Aurora form and not crazy Aurora form, because we've seen both. But Liquid have had the tendency to lose their game 2s. I think that after the Riyadh tournament that we recently had, Liquid did learn a lot though, and they looked different towards the end of it, where they're going to maybe carry that discipline and that momentum from that tournament into this one. So I expect them not to slip up in this game too.
Okay, because is there anything that they could learn from a match like this? I kind of felt like once the laning stage was over, and you highlighted the fight that was happening at minute 15, and it kind of felt like that was already, okay, you know what, guys, pack it up, it's done. Do they have anything that they can go back, we could have done that better, or was this just smooth?
I don't think you go after a game like this where you're trying to point out the mistakes, maybe after the full series where you have time, but for now you're just going to keep up the momentum, something that you've been doing pretty successfully throughout the year, and just nothing's wrong with Team Liquid's draft. Like, even when they, I would say, lose some of their drafts, it does look really good still on paper.
It solidifies the concept, right? It's the idea like Doom can be first picked, we can play around it. Boxy can play an aggressive 4 to then play with, you know, Nisha, who wants to be a little bit more kill hungry, right? I think the concept of game 1 is what kind of now go, okay, we've finished our first game, that worked out well, we can now replicate that concept many times over now.
Yeah, you don't want to overcorrect or look at a game that you won and try to pick out mistakes, but obviously you can always do better, because even in that game 1, there was one smoke that Liquid hit that didn't connect on anything. Like, they did try to play with the Storm earlier than that minute 15 timing, but Aurora dodged them very well, and they just didn't smoke into the correct area. I think the Tormentor fight that they took, where they actually lost the last hit on Tormentor, and Aurora took it, they could also reflect on that and think that maybe if they're going to do those 20-minute aggressive plays, they have to be slightly cleaner. But for the most part, they are happy with that game 1.
Well, I also am happy with seeing Willow do as well. I will also comment quickly on how cool Boxy looked playing Willow. The sunglasses definitely help in the cool-looking department.
Oh, look at that. He looks like he's about to fly a plane or something.
Yeah, he is, but I do believe he has...
Wait, he's standing. Oh, he's standing.
He might be playing some tiny.
Is he standing?
Position 4 tiny airlines coming in.
I will say, so every desk is a sit-stand desk. You can adjust however you want.
But have we, in the history of Dota,
no.
had a standing pro player?
We have not.
We've had multiple like phone books used by EE before on a table to raise it.
Can I just say that if he does play standing, I would like to take partial credit, because I sold Boxy on the idea that I was able to play while standing and walking as well.
I know which player is going to be only playing standing. That sucks, though.
Yeah, that is true.
I don't know if the
Everybody
desk goes
calm
up
down.
that high.
He's on a chair.
He is a stand-in after all.
What?
He was leaning on a chair.
Yeah, but if he sits while the desk is at that height, then you know you're literally having your wrists above your head at that point. We'll see how he does. But he does have a little bit of light sensitivity, which is why he wears sunglasses.
Yeah, I don't like this. Like, I'm not expert in reading the body, but this doesn't give me confidence. This like resident sleeper pose that we're seeing on the screen right now, I want to see that fixed.
But I think
also not good for your back.
I think if those glasses were sunglasses, you'd think differently because
for sure, sunglasses just make everything cooler. Times 10.
To be fair, it is drafting phase, and if you're not actively participating in draft, if you want to kick back and lay down in your chair, it doesn't matter too much, and I don't think there's that much draft contribution coming out of carries.
Yeah, but look at Insania. That's confidence for me.
Yeah.
That's
someone who contributes to draft.
Now we can see what's happening because draft is indeed on your screen. Got Aurora this time around on the Dire side, Team Liquid on the Radiant side. Aurora also first pick, which is flipped from last game. They still go for the Wind Ranger overall first pick for them, and we have a little bit of a change up in the bans as that is the Doom banned out. It means that of all the heroes, Lina is still in the pool. That was banned out previous game, and that is it, I believe. And Enigma is now banned as well, and that means Timbersaw is in the pool. There you go.
Liquid just making the statement of, if we have ability to pick Doom, we'll go for it. If you have first pick, we respect it so much that it is gone for us. So again, future knowledge for other teams against them. And you know, Windrunner first pick, that's perfectly fine. SD's banned out by Aurora, so you can't get rid of the Windrun. Again, you still have availability for Tusk down the line. Like, I don't think Windrunner was really the problem. It was the Windrunner into, they picked multiple heroes without respecting Liquid after the fact. And Omni Knight, a stellar hero. You might argue that...
no, because we've been in the green room and you're like, yeah, Omni Knight, this hero, very good.
It's silly.
Stellar.
It is stellar. It is, because everyone in chat's like, just buy Nullify. It doesn't matter. It doesn't work. If you press Repel and then have Guardian Angels active, the Repel prevents the Nullifier from getting rid of anything. Therefore, we can't buy the item that used to destroy Omni Knight. So it's stupid. You get debuff immunity for like 40-odd second cooldown. Much better than a BKB.
Liquid banned it out in game number 1 in the second ban phase as well, so it was on the radar already.
It's on the radar of every team in this tournament. It feels like Omni is either banned in the first phase or banned in the second phase, because usually Omni isn't the first overall pick you go for. Like, if your first pick, you're looking at that Wind Ranger, you're looking at that Furion, you're looking at that Doom, but if those heroes are just out of the equation, boom, Omni Knight. And not only is he great for the reasons T mentioned, but he's just a really strong laner. Like this. Stellar.
Thank you.
A stellar laner. It feels like there are very few lanes that this hero can lose, and it opens up Liquid's bread and butter, which is ranged semi-carry on Mickey.
you kind of forget that with Hammer of Purity, you only need 1 point in it, and you can just bonk. Boom! Get out of my lane. It's just pretty good. And then you max, obviously, you know, your Purification and your Repel, but as a melee hero, it's surprising how much you can do.
Yeah, it's very good at trading against some of the heroes that you would not expect, especially with the Degen Aura. You get on top of them and their survivability. Yeah, I know it's slightly too early, but you know what I would like to see? Maybe some Ancient Apparition later down the line. You're playing into Omni, playing into Morphling. You might need to cook it slightly harder, go for, you know, medium well instead of medium rare in this one.
Yeah, I could potentially see that down the lane.
That's a good team.
If they had, you know, melee strong tanky cores, so that with stuns that could set up for the AA, I could actually see that happening.
Yes.
But I do like this Morphling coming out early. It's a Mike specialty. You know that it's going to be paired with Omni Knight, so it's going to have no issues with sustain on the lane. It's going to have a strong lane regardless. And you replicate into Wind Ranger, and you just take her Wind Run, you take her Shackle, you take her Power Shot. You're very happy at this point, if you're Liquid, picking Morphling. And it's not a hero that you're comfortable picking early in a draft like this, but with these conditions, it's perfect so far.
It already screams to Aurora that if you don't pick backline finding heroes with damage, you are going to have the same issue as last game. And like, of course, like the combination of Morphling Omni and lane, it's like it's silly. Like you just press 1 Purification back to 4 HP, right? And you need to then entertain the idea that a bit more jump, a bit more fight. Don't go for this double scaling core on Aurora. I'd like to, you know, use your laning to then go find them, because I think Omni Knight in a game where he's, you know, behind can feel very despair. You know, if you're amping up a hero that also doesn't have the damage to kill your opponent, it's like a domino effect of waiting. So I think you need to be aggressive against an Omni Knight. You need to keep closing out the map, keep trying to just find him and prevent him from allowing his cores to get 2-3 big damage items.
So are we happy with the Treant Protector?
Yeah, I said Ancient Apparition. It's hard to pick this hero. Maybe somewhere in the draft you would be able to sneak it in, but the current meta right now, what you want to do from your position 5 is play some melee body, potentially with the heal, these Omni Knights, Treant Protectors, Abaddons, anything that can soak up the damage, maybe some RCs, maybe some Tusks that are increasing the damage of your carry, and then play from there. Have a lane that's not going to be able, because right now I'm seeing Team Liquid safe lane, and I don't think many offlaner duos can win against that lane, and I also see Aurora with Wind Ranger, Treant Protector, very difficult to win against these two heroes.
I mean, if Tree goes for Shard Blink and finds the Omni, you know, hit the root punch, then get the overgrowth, prevent the Omni from getting close to his opponent, or then maybe even repel himself to get closer, then we have some life to the tree. But yeah, again, Timbersaw, this is kind of like the theme that I was mentioning. Like if you keep running at the Omni, keep running down your opponent, it will threaten the ability for if you hit this time. Like Omni Knight is kind of what Tinker, do you know when Tinker was like super broken for like a week? Yeah. This is what Omni Knight was as well, where you kind of chill for 15-20 minutes and then suddenly you're like, what are we dealing with? We can't deal with this aggression. Like that's the window you need to shut him down in.
Pretty simple thinking from Team Liquid. Vizirizi comes out paired up with Tusk, so that's going to be 4 Tusk with Visage, unlimited amount of damage. This is also a hero that can pretty much build into anything. If you want to go for Glip Glop, you can go for that. If you want to build auras on the hero, feels really nice.
You just said so many buzzwords there. Like,
yeah. Glip Glop.
The Glip Glops, the Glizzies, or whatever, I don't know what it was.
There's a really scary timing now coming out of Team Liquid's draft with this Visage. So not only do you have this Visage who's just going to barrel down towers, all of a sudden you have this Omni who, like T mentioned, wants to hit that 20-minute timing. You're going to have this Roshan, right? You have tag team, they're all going to rush together. You put the Aegis on your Morphling, and then you're just going for kills. You're going for team fights. You're not going to give them any map control. And that first Aegis timing on Morphling is really important. It's almost as important as the first Aegis on Ursa in terms of what this hero can do if he has a good lane. And we know he's going to have a good lane because he's laning with the Omni Knight. So this Aurora needs to find a way to fight into this 20-minute Liquid timing, because they're going to get run over if they don't.
Yeah, I mean, Puck is one of the heroes that can take, you know, defensive fights really nicely. Like you TP into a tower dive and you throw down that coil, any additional damage onto that feels good. I'm a little skeptical that the early damage is there. Like Treant in lane is good. Post lane, you kind of fall off on damage, you need other people. Windrunner in lane, good. Post lane, kind of fall off. So I see Timber and Puck as like, these are 2 good components to deal with the aggression, but they're still missing that 1 extra hero. If they go for 1 more hero that can react to that aggression, then sure, on paper it looks good. You throw it in, but into an Omni Knight as well, it's like 1 repel and you just run out of coil. So this Omni still is the kind of the key piece of the puzzle for Liquid.
Is there, because I'm assuming for Aurora we're looking for a position 4, so we're looking for a Q hero. Is there a position 4 hero that does exactly what you want it to do. Like, that's basically the missing puzzle piece, as you call it.
Any high damage 4 that can poke in lane could be pretty good. You could go for like a Snapfire, for example. People aren't really going for Lil Shredder, but bringing that back. Like when Omni steps up by himself, you Lil Shred him to half HP, you get rid of him. Now it's like a 2v1 against the Morphling. I think as long as you can win that lane, then you can gank the Visage quite nicely. And it's like win off lane, gank Visage. Liquid's draft does kind of crumbling down a bit.
I really like Sky Mage here. I'm a huge Sky enjoyer. I think that the hero is a lot more viable now than it was a few months ago, but a lot of teams don't want to touch it. But I think an underrated way of dealing with Omni Knight is just silences. And Sky has one of the best single target silences in the entire game. It's so long durations. He has talents that buff it up. And if you can just get a silence on this Omni Knight with a puck follow-up on that backline, you can make sure to kill him over and over again. It's also a way to deal with Morphling in the early game, but I'm not sure if that's on Aurora's radar exactly.
Is Rubik still available?
Yes, he is.
Could just go for a little bit of that Rubik, you know, throw it behind the Timbersaw, and now you're just stealing the Omni spells to kind of match the fight. Like if you repel, I'll repel. Not many great spells. I mean,
not many good spells to steal. I was thinking about Rubik,
but they banned the Snapfire
and the Snap and the Rubik. There we go. All right.
There aren't many heroes left in the pool that they can pair up with this Timbersaw to feel good to play the offlane. Timber does put pressure on Morphling and Omni Knight, of course, but Ricky's a good ban. I like that one. We're going to see quite a lot of Ricky coming out from the mid lane, especially if they don't have the catch. They don't have like many things except for Puck's Coil, but you also have some backup with your Omni Knight, Visage with you know, the auras, and you also have Tusk with the Snowball. But yeah, this Ricky with the Cloud can cause a lot of issues against Puck, against Wind Ranger if you get on top of these heroes, even Timbersaw.
And another great pick for Liquid would have been the DK, the instant stun versus Puck, the blink initiation for Liquid, which they're currently lacking, and just extra tower push. So Aurora wisely, you take it out as well.
I'm thinking something elusive, maybe Void Spirit. I know that's a really good matchup against the Puck for Team Liquid. Yeah, so they have something, it matches nicely into Puck, and also having a silence, you can build into Manta Style, into Aghanim Scepter, whichever you feel is better. You're playing into Treant Protector, so he is a natural Manta buyer. You want to get out of the Overgrowth.
Yeah, like in regards to like position forwards, like I kind of put a lot of emphasis on just winning the lane, make sure that you shut them down. Snap, Rubik, Hoodwink, they are kind of like the big fours, at least that can do that in some capacity. And yeah, going back to Lacoste's point about Void Spirit, it's like for Liquid, Void Spirit, a tiny, just any hero shaker, if you go for the Treads, Blink into Aghanims, like their mid had to be the one that kind of opens up the game by going, okay, my lane's good, can I go to a Visage lane and overwhelm it? And that's pretty much what this hero is going to do. It's super high damage with Slugger Facet, you farm really easily, you're super tanky, you're also going to get buffed up by Repel like we were mentioning, and they have multiple forms of jump now that this Omni Knight is going to feel good, because if Morph goes in, I help you. If Visage is tanking a tower, I help you. It's like, it's not an Omni Knight where it's like, I only can save one person. Like, you're going to be able to choose different ways to take fights.
But ideally, your key focus is not going to be on your Morphling, right? But I love this Shaker for having that instant stun versus the Puck. The Echo Slam versus the Puck is one of the best picks they could have had here with Ricky and DK taken out. And it just gives them that rotations early on that they needed. They didn't have that blink initiation that I talked about. Now they do. So it's really great. Liquid's draft is looking really solid. The last point I want to make is that I'm just not a fan of Hoodwink much anymore. Like, I don't think she's as strong on lane. I think that she suffers very heavily versus Visage. I think that once she bushwhacks somebody and they get repelled, it's easily countered now. So.
I still hate Acorn Shot, sorry.
Yeah, so in a good way or in a bad way?
The first 4 minutes of laning phase easily is the lowest skill hero in the game. You take the tree bounce facet on Acorn Shot, you click it on a position 5, they lose half their HP. After that, high skill hero, sure. But the first 4 minutes, a Herald player could literally play at TI on that hero.
There's some frustration in there. We'll see if Q can make Team Liquid feel the way that apparently TGov has felt in the past. Let's see if they can tie the score. We're finding out together with B-Cup and Lizard.
Thank you very much. Coming into game number 2, it is Aurora looking to change their destiny, but Liquid's lineup looks pretty damn strong. I will say, though, we've got Lauren off on the puck. It's something me and you talked about in game number 1, something we wanted to see him on, and now he's there on it.
Yeah, definitely not a Herald hero. Puck, definitely one of those that's a little bit harder to execute with. Not really the easiest matchup as well into the Shaker. When it comes to everything else, like one of my main banned heroes, and if I could ban him 4 times, it would be him. It's Omni Knight. Like this guy, he just breaks the game. It's very easy to play him at the moment. Repel seems way too strong. Hammer of Purity dishes out way too much damage in the laning stage. However, at the same time, even though I do like this Omni and Morphling, on the other side you do have the Timber, and it's one of the heroes that can break that lane if they play the first couple of minutes properly.
30 seconds to battle.
So, see if there's any fights here before the Horn. Looks like Liquid might be setting up to make something happen.
You have Visage, right? Like you have Visage, you have this Death Toll. You want to fight. He instantly skills Soul Assumption. This is a hero that back in the day you'd think twice before skilling something over Grave Chill, but right now it's always Soul Assumption.
See if they can catch anybody. They're going to wrap around. Nisha's going to be here, ready to go. Shards are in. Jabs is in trouble. The Soul Assumption, the Timber Chain up onto the high ground. And there is another Soul Assumption available, but Jabs doesn't end up dead. Foxy on the run, runs for a right click to kill him, but instead, first blood goes to 33 as he takes out Ollie. He's now got to run, but the power shot almost took out Boxy in a collateral, but man.
Boxy?
He still needs to get out of here.
Yeah, cute. He does have that Acorn shot, but yeah, it wasn't that easy to use it this time around.
Uh-oh. Yeah, it's not just off the trees just yet.
Yeah. Pretty good, by the way, pretty good start for 33 for Liquid because he got that kill. He reset as well when it comes to his mana and HP. So even dying there isn't that bad because you can go back into the lane and then spam some more Soul Assumption. Of course, you buy a shit ton of mangoes. You buy 3, 4. You just make sure that you always have them ready and available to spam with. Yeah, we'll see how top goes, because 3 and 10 Wind Ranger as well are not that easy to be bullied out.
They're gonna try though. We'll try to use this Soul Assumption right now. 2 mangoes. There's another Soul Assumption, and
never mind.
It's easy.
Never mind.
The bullying has commenced.
Yeah, 23.
20.
Swinging.
Yeah, you may not want to go that far. There's no more mangoes on the way, but still is 2 more. So we'll have to just kind of keep an eye on this Visage. Meanwhile, some of the other matchups we've seen so far is taking a look over bottom. Jabs and Q here is Insania starting with the Hammer of Purity as well as Purification, going up against the Hoodwink with just that Acorn shot for the moment.
Yeah, like, speaking of Hoodwink, I do think that this is like my favorite hero into Visage as a position 4 into these kind of lineups is Jakiro. Like 5, that is. Like he's still kind of solid and just way too tanky, so Assumption doesn't do much to you, and then you have a lot of dots against the birds and him. However, Hoodwink is actually very good too later on. Like once you get Maelstrom, like 1 Acorn shot just deletes your birds. If you get 1 proc of Maelstrom, it just removes your armor and it removes your birds as well. So they definitely thought about this very well. And Jabs on Timber, I believe this was their 3rd pick. Like one of the reasons why this hero even got picked for them is you get a guy that can stand in front of towers and just be that statue that prevents you from taking objectives. And that's what you want to do if you're 33 and you want to take objectives.
And Lotus is going to be picked up by Boxy, so maybe more willing to go after both these heroes. Ollie took a lot of damage from that last Soul Assumption, but pops himself a salve. 33 now just has 3 charges on that wand, so the mana is out, but he is getting a Bassi on the way. Bottom lane. For the moment, it's Jabs at 11-2, doing all right, but Nikkei, he is 18-1.
Yeah, they cut down all of the trees, so it's not really that easy for Jabs to play on the left side. And Nikkei, you know, just free farming. This is what I usually see on every Morphling in my games right now. And that's what you see with any carry right now with Omni Knight in the lane. just get healed too much.
The sustain is really just that easy in a lane like this with this combo. Mid lane, I'm interested to see how Lornoff plays this game compared to the last, right? Like, Sniper's not that playmaker that Puck is by any means, so this is the hero that, if you're talking and you're a fan of Lornoff, this is the hero you brag about him with. I'm ready to see that proven.
Yeah, that's what I usually do. I brag to my mom about Lornoff. I go back home and I'm like, Mom,
this guy, Lornoff, you should see his Puck.
You should have seen his Puck, Mom.
It's what I aspire to be one day in Dota. And I look over at my left monitor and I see my Dota open and I'm like, Herald 3, what the hell?
Nah, that's not true.
It's not, but I'm just...
I mean, I have seen you in some Jenkins videos, but you're not Herald 3.
Oh, I'm in a video? Oh no.
23.
He's in some trouble. Soul Assumption ready to be thrown in a second, so he'll throw that over onto Ollie, and ooh, Shaco keeps Ollie alive for the moment. The power shot comes in, but another Soul Assumption to get the kill. And that will be another death.
If you manage to live for one more second, nighttime hits and they lose the vision, so there's the Soul Assumption. It's always like that, right? Like, it's that 1 second. 1 second on a blink, 1 second until nighttime. Always a bit too late.
Why couldn't it have been just a second more of survival for Ollie there, but unfortunately not able to survive. Though 23 thought he saved him with that shackle shot. Mickey is still just free. Oy.
Was a nice shackle, but yeah, at least he didn't die, right? Like 23, he lives. And this is a point of the game in which you kind of get raindrops on everyone, so
yeah,
you should be able to lane a little bit nicer.
Keeping an eye on 33 because he has been a real nuisance, and it has allowed Tusk to come over towards mid. And Lornoff at level 6 dropped that Dream Coil, but nothing really doing. Able to get out of harm's way and also getting healed up just a little bit by Ollie with level 1 in the living armor.
Yeah, one good thing that Q has done is you have this Timber, right? Like, he's not having the best lane, he's actually not having a good lane at all. But you can at least stack up for someone if you can't pressure the Morphling Omni combo. And he did make a couple of stacks, some Ancient, some Hard Camp, so maybe a recovery.
Well, to think about the numbers, in terms of CS, it was 18 last hits to 11 last hits from Mickey to Jabs, and now Mickey is at 45, while Jabs has only gotten to 23. So it is really just turned into a Morphling favored lane by leaps and bounds. And
yeah, in
7-minute Wisdom Rune.
Stole it.
He's stolen. Ooh. And now Ollie and Q are here to just try and get this kill and get something out of this.
I see.
Purification in 9. Hammer of Purity, now 3 heroes here as he'll stand still knowing he's dead. He's hit that gate and can't get any further.
Yeah, still though, 2 Wisdom Runes. You'd give your life as a support always for that minute 7.
And to get that
Very
attention,
happy.
3 heroes.
Of course, 23 Savage now top lane, Nisha.
He's here. Yeah, they've got the shards to block in 23 Savage, the drinking buddies, the shackle connects on a Boxy, but there's the snowball pulling in Nisha. They'll get the kill on a 23, and that space, by having both supports over bottom to react to that Wisdom Rune take, allows them to get that kill on the 23 Savage.
Oh man, 33 and these Zoo heroes, he's always gonna find a way to sneak one in, you know, you get this Visage, he's 6 already. He will have that ulti now, and the lane becomes almost impossible for anyone to stand in.
It's rough out of the laning stage, a little bit different than what we saw from Aurora in game number 1, right? Like, Lornoff had a really good mid. This time around, you know, it's even, as they'll go to the Dream Coil, they'll try to get this kill on Lornoff.
No damage.
And Isha just drops an Echo Slam and says, come for me, I'll come for you. And they get the double kill, they'll go for another. Ollie's in trouble, the Nature's Grass is down, but that doesn't matter. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
okay, both. Yeah.
Just the simple pressing of R, or if your legacy key is something different, but Echo Slam's easy drop, easy double kill, easy 3 kills in total.
Dude, that was probably unexpected for Aurora, let's put it that way, but...
It's pure cinema.
Yeah, they tried a little bit too early. Like, they didn't have what it took to take down the Shaker. Between the Puck and the Hoodwink, it's just not enough damage. Hoodwink, that's also a problem when you lose these Wisdom runes. I'm not sure if the supports would be 6 anyway, even with the Wisdom runes, but...
You're like, all right, Nisha, we got you. Dream Coil down. And then, oh my god. There's a lot of people happy out there just seeing Hoodwink's body fly away from that Echo Slam.
It's very satisfying. Like,
Oh,
Shaker,
100%.
Shaker is like 100% one of the most satisfying heroes to play right now. Like this slugger passive effect, it feels good.
Is there any chance we could just see the Hoodwink flying away again? Is that possible?
In slow motion.
Yeah, it's a little bit of slow motion would be nice. All the Hoodwinkators out there, we'd love to see it again.
All the jokes aside, I do think that Shaker is in a really good spot.
Yeah.
Like, he's plaguing high-level pubs, and for a reason. Oh!
There we go, there it is.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Oh. And then just blown away.
Oh. She got wings, man. It's one of those flying squirrels, you know?
Yeah. Oh, God. I love that.
Are scanning.
Thank you, production. You guys are great.
Yeah, like you attempt to salvage your game by going on this Shaker, and now what I expected from them is maybe to go on Visage, because they do have a lot of dots, and if Visage is, you know, maybe out of position trying to push top a little bit too hard, you can punish that, but soon it's gonna be too late. Like, he's almost completed the Solar Crest.
Oh boy. McKay still here, bottom, just free to do it, whatever they want. Maybe even looking to get a kill here. You've got Insania and Boxy level 6. If anybody shows up from Aurora and comes out a little bit too far, snowball in, a little drinking buddies action, and a walrus punch with the backup and health of a Insania with purification. You're pretty much dead.
Yeah, gotta be careful when it comes to that lane. When it comes to another lane, the guy that just got a double kill, that sent Hoodwink flying, he's got Blink. 20 gold away. Like, your Shaker, minute 10, has Power Threads Blink. The map is completely open now, and you can basically set the Visage on this path of taking one tower after another, with just Nisha being nearby.
Aurora only has 2 kills right now. Their reactions to, or movements really being
gonna echo?
Oh. Yeah, he's gonna echo. All right. Stacks taken.
Stacks is successfully echoed. Never mind. I have a blink, guys, but you have to wait now 2 minutes.
Yeah. Is that the most efficient way to take stacks?
It's the fastest one I've ever seen, for sure. All the camps just disappeared.
I'm gonna look towards the top tier 1. And Lornoff actually gonna see Nisha. But 23's staying here. They're not afraid at the moment.
I see you, Nisha. I see.
Well, good shards. Still leashed up, but there's the sharpshooter, the waning rift, and Lornoff's got a kill. Finally getting something out of that, but they do end up losing that top tier 1, and it is a 4,000 net worth lead for the side of Team Liquid as Nisha now picks up a shield rune. Not going to be an easy kill by any means if they do go for him.
At least they got the levels on Hoodwink, right? Like, you got that 6, but once you see this shield rune, you know he's an impossible kill, so...
Yeah.
And this defense of the tier 1 tower mid lane might be impossible as well. Like, your teammates are just not ready.
So, they go from top to mid, they take both tier 1 towers. Nisha on his way to an Ags, and the entire time that they're moving around, Aurora is reacting, and this has just left the Morphling free down bottom. Has a Yasha, has a Vlad's, going into a Manta, just not touched at all. And now, ooh, Fissure just off the mark. But still gonna get all this farm up towards the top lane.
Yeah, it's your casual Morphling build where you want, like, you don't see Vlad's, I think, as much as before on him. But this Manta, of course, staple. And with the Vlad's, it's not only you, of course. Visage benefits a lot, the birds benefit from it. And as a team, you can start taking objectives or threatening tier 2s very soon. Like, the lanes for Aurora just had to go better. That's the issue. Like, right now, like, it's 7-3, only 10 kills in the game. But you can sense that Liquid are completely in control.
Yeah. And then going after this tier 2 tower almost feels like it's Liquid asking for Aurora to react. They're letting them take these towers, and yeah, Aurora's trying to farm back into the game. But this is kind of the question we had in the last game, right? Like, what item really brings them back in? They're not down by much at the moment, but we haven't really felt the possibilities just yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's a certain singular item at the moment. They just all need farm.
Yeah.
You know, they all need to get some levels. Like, your problem is Oli didn't even have level 6, you know, up to this point.
They've got the scan. Oh boy. 23, spotted, totem, and a Fissure with a soul assumption. The drinking buddies to the familiar. And that will allow them to get to Walrus Punch out and get that kill. They also get his courier.
They are smoked. They want to fight this, maybe.
Not having 23, and Echo wasn't even used in that situation. A little bit rough there. Repel going to be placed on Anisha. Anisha might be looking for his opportunity to jump back in and go to the Echo Slam. It lands on a 2. There's the Fissure. The Walrus Punch on a Warnoff. They get the kill on the puck. They'll look over at this Hoodwink. Sharpshooter to get away from the side of Team Liquid. They get the kill on a Boxy. They'll end up trading 1 for 1, at least in this engagement. But here comes Mickey. Here's the waveform over the Timber changes. He morphs into the Timber Saw. They get the kill on Anisha. They'll take out a second, but they've got the adaptive strike. They've got the Morphling into a Timber that will take out the Timber with the help of 33. And they end up getting a couple, but it looked okay for Aurora.
Yeah, it looked all right, considering they didn't even have 23. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No Windrunner, they still took a decent fight. But that fight was almost perfect for Timbersaw. Like, he goes in, he manages to whirling that all the heroes around him, together with all the trees that were around him, dishing out. And how much damage did he even deal? He dealt 2.5k damage that fight. So
yeah.
Quite a lot.
Couple of whirling deaths, especially in that situation, and you're gonna really do a lot there, so. Be able to take out this vision if they can get to it up in this jungle, as they've been playing aggressive for quite some time, but 23 comes over. Protecting the information that they've got, at least for now. Just keeping an eye as Jab's hoping to get into this Crimson Guard. He's got Arcane Boots, the Kaya ready. You look over at Lorinoff, he's going for a Blink Dagger. The fight went well. They definitely would have wished they had 23, but I could see the possibilities. You know, I was questioning it before that fight, but there was something shown there that is shining some light.
No, definitely. I do think that they have what it takes to take these fights if they can somehow initiate on the right targets. Like, if you can silence, maybe blow up this Omni Knight from 100 to 0, your fight, of course, will be much easier.
Right.
And of course, Timber is there to, you know, just dish out all the damage needed. At the moment, he's the main one.
So again, the tier 2 just being attacked by these familiars. And maybe Aurora will look for an opportunity to fight. Once, I would say 23 gets this Gleipnir, but he wants Gleipnir BKB to feel more comfortable within these fights. It ain't that easy for him at the moment.
It's so difficult to defend versus this combo. Like, the main hero on Liquid right now is a bird. It's not even Visage, it's one of the birds. He's fine.
Nice.
He's gonna get away. Like, who you have to look out for is this little 33 bird familiar that's flying around him. Like this dead pigeon, whatever you want to call it, a gargoyle. Because it gets Solar Crested, and it also gets Drinking Buddies. And then it hits real damn hard. That's the main objective taker for them at the moment.
Now, earlier in the game, you were saying you'd like to see Hoodwink maybe get a Maelstrom, clears out that Familiars, but for right now, for the Hoodwink, it's Arcane Boots Aetherlands. So, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, he's going a bit more into, you know, the caster kind of a Hoodwink. Like you see some players, they tend to go for Gleipnir every game. Some other players, they go for the Aetherlands route. I'm not sure I like it as much in this game versus Visage, but we'll see.
Ollie. Seam 33 has that overgrowth available. That actually lands on a Boxy. Now they've got themselves the Hoodwink help, and they'll get the kill into 33. Insania's here. They'll go to the snowball. Nisha coming over. He's looking for that blink into the Echo Slam. He's going to throw it down. Looking over at Warnoff. Power shot. Not enough damage just yet to get the kill to Warnoff. Insania trying to help keep alive Nisha, but he jumped in between 4 heroes, hoping to land a good Echo Slam to get these kills. A Fissure down on a 2. They'll lose this Earthshaker there as well. And a Dream Coil going to be dropped by Lornoff to go after Insania, who's going to be pulled over towards Boxy with the Drinking Buddies, towards Mickey as well. They'll run, and maybe they'll look to react. Shards thrown over, 23 Savage in the face of Mickey. Jabs looking to be the tank in front. But they aren't committing just yet.
That's the Crimson Guard difference right there. Just completely changes the way the game's fight. The fight is fought.
And it starts with that Bushwhack grabs 2. They get the kill in the 33. Echo Slam not as good as they would have hoped it would have been. Drinking Buddies on a Mickey. 33 back into this one. They'll go to the Walrus Punch. They've got themselves the silence on to Puck, and Warnoff's dead. Oh, there's the Ags now coming through from Nisha. The Fisher's going to be on a 2 of these heroes. 23 and Jabs are going to be in a little bit of trouble. They go to the Whirling Death as well as the Timber Chain away. But here's the Sharpshooter right into the face of Boxy. Drinking Buddies on a Mickey just once more. As it's a Timber Chaining. Gleipnir for 23 Savage. But do they have the damage to finish off these heroes? They're low but not dead. Jabs is gone to the Walrus Punch as well as the damage coming up from 33. The Adaptive Strike thrown on to 23 Savage. He's running. But Nisha's got that Fissure. He'll jump in with the Totem thanks to that Ags. And Mickey's got the kill on the Windrunner again.
Yeah,
So
this
it's a
is
long, drawn-out fight.
It's a long, drawn-out fight in which they're not assessing this Omni Knight problem. Like, he's just healing one hero after another. The gold change, of course, for Visage is amazing because he's just sitting there hitting soul assumptions one after another, getting a ton of gold from all the kills. And 33 almost died a couple of times. Timbersaw played that well, like Jabs was on top of him. However, it's like without Insania dying, probably no one else will as well. So you have to deal with him first.
It felt like Aurora, they wanted that tier 1. They really wanted to get something out of those kills. And it caused them to just stay a little bit too long, right? And Lornoff dies, yeah, you want to retreat on that, but the reaction's too instant from Liquid off that kill. Nisha jumps in.
Yeah, Nisha, he had the Aghanims before as well. Yeah. Before that fight, in that fight, he managed to actually use it. It was a really good initiation from him, from like cutting off the backlines. But for Aurora, the position wasn't that bad. Like, you were holding the high ground, you see everything. Your Timbersaw is jumping in, your Hoodwink can keep distance. It wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't enough for the Omni Knight heals. Gotta deal with it.
Tormentor. The next objective taken here by Team Liquid. That'll be a shard for Boxy. They're up 9,000 net worth, but again, this game more so than the last, 9,000 net worth, it does feel like Aurora still have a puncher's chance. And the fights have been close, but when they're on Liquid's terms, it feels so much more one-sided.
Yeah, they definitely have the chance. All comes down to how they execute these team fights. Like you mentioned, the Shaker and his Aghanims, well, the BKBs are slowly but surely going to be there. No, not surely, most likely they will be there for Aurora. 23 Savage's pathway to his, where it's going to become a little bit easier for him to just pop his ulti and go in front.
Right. And And without having this BKB for 23, they kind of have to concede this Roche. Fighting into it, it just seems like it'll put you too far behind if you lose that fight. And it'll delay the BKB even longer.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, most likely one of those that you don't want to take. It's like this stock standard game where you're playing into Omni or Visage. If they have a good start, which they usually do, you are probably letting them take that first rush. Just can't contest it. One objective after another just builds up that network lead.
Speaking about net worth, Lornoff, bottom of the course at the moment. Not exactly getting much out of this game.
Yep. Puck as a hero had some love for top lane. They're hunting 23.
TP attempt, but the fissure's on the money. They've got these shards, they have the fissure, there's nowhere to go for 23. The snowball making sure they take no damage. And they will get this kill onto the Windrunner.
Secured.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 33 secures it with the bird stone form. But yeah, it's so easy for them right now. Without that BKB, like as a Windrunner, you can't really take any engagements, and apparently you can't escape as well.
Yeah, the shard's in the fissure there with the trees off to the side. He was unable to run anywhere.
Yeah, the Tusk fissure, not fissure, sorry, the Tusk ice shard with the shard, Aghanim's shard that is a problem for Windranger because you have to run away all around to get out. It just steals a couple of seconds that are so necessary for you. Kanda, by the way, on Morphling already for quite some time. BKB next for him as well. He's got 3 more minutes to work with on the Aegis. First game, it looked like Aurora just didn't have a chance. The second one, they do have one, but they need to make a play very soon.
They'll try to make a play once they have this BKB, which was what 23 was trying to do up top. But he has to farm a little bit safer, a little bit further back, and hope that he doesn't get caught. With that being said, though, Nisha's kind of crawling his way up towards top, and so is Boxy again.
Why the Aghanims on Hoodwink, by the way? What do you think? Like, I'm trying to... Like, this is the standard, right? Like, some Aetherlands top lane, Dream Coil. That's just... Will he even survive? That's the question now.
He just has to avoid where Nisha jumps next, and yeah, he's fine. Yeah, I'm a little stumped on the Ags, because I kind of still agree. I would have liked to see that Maelstrom for Hoodwink. They're lacking damage, and we've seen Hoodwinks in the past throw it out when they finally get that Maelstrom. Is 23. He goes from top to bottom, running from heroes, but still on the run.
Radiant.
And maybe there's something about Omni Knight as well, and having some extra burst into him is always nice. Like, if you can think about it that way, like Puck jumps in and you just blow everything that you can into the Omni, and then you fight the fight afterwards.
Dire's bottom tower.
Then it might make sense. They do have a BKB now. It's completed on 23, flying out. Let's see if it's gonna be some instant smoke or not.
Unfortunately, the same timing has been hit for Mickey, but it's not at the same net worths, that's for sure.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
They both get their BKBs, and they're gonna go. Nisha, though, hit by this Gleipnir, Drinking Buddy, Sharpshooter, thrown off into the distance, and now they won't have that for another 40 seconds.
Yeah, bot lane, though. Morphling and Visage.
Shackle thrown out. Waveform all the way in. Mickey's gonna go through. They're gonna look over at Jabs, who's soaking a lot of this damage. They've got that ult coming out from this Omni Knight. They get the kill in a boxy. They're taking this Tusk. But with BKB pop by 23 Savage, he's on the run. Not really using that to engage, not using it offensively. And this Bushwhack, as well as the Acorn shot, hits the familiars. All they get right now is this Tusk, though.
Yeah, let's see. Aegis. 30 seconds until it's reclaimed. It looks like Liquid will fall back. Aurora demonstrated how difficult it is to take that fight against them if you don't have the right initiation, and they definitely didn't this time around. They went on jabs. Like, that's probably one hero you're very unlikely to kill. Like, he's got Crimson, he's got Eternal Shroud. He's a Timber Saw after all. And killing him is unlikely.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Trying to defend these buildings. Bushwhack, Sharpshooter coming through. Now they're in, but Mickey's here. Wait for him forward, looking over at Jabs again. Timber Chain all the way back. Wait here. It connects on the Mickey, but is he the one you want?
He lost the bird, and he lost the second one. Keep in mind, he doesn't have ulti anymore. He already resummoned them once. This will probably be an opportunity for Aurora. Okay, you lost the range racks, but maybe this is a smoke. Maybe this is a good time to smoke.
With the vision that they had and the info that was there for them on Nisha, I thought they were going to go that direction, but they kind of just walk out for free. They do have some good deep wards. The vision and info is there for Aurora, at least in some ways, which when you're locked into your base like this is usually not the case, right? Like, they've got 4 wards that are in some pretty decent positions.
Yeah,
they're gonna run out soon.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're very old wards that are like back from the past when they actually had a say in this game and they were on the map.
Yeah.
Even though it's honestly not that bad right now, only top lane.
Isha?
Yeah.
Might be in some trouble. Shackle connects. Gotta try and get this kill. Sharpshooter is there. They've got the root. The fissure lands, and now he's gonna be able to get the overgrowth out. They were waiting for that BKB. The Echo Slam's gonna be committed the damage on Ollie, and now they've got the help from Insania, who comes through. Silence up thanks to the Waning Rift, but do they have the damage to get the kill on Anisha as well as Insania on this Omni Knight? They're still chasing Nisha. The only one really chasing is Ollie. They get the kill on Insania. They'll at least get themselves the Omni Knight. They'll look over at Boxy, who's gonna drinking buddies over to the Familiar, but not gonna get himself far enough away from the side of Aurora. And they've got 2. But the one that they really wanted slips out of their hands.
So I think you're still very happy with this. Like, he popped his BKB, you killed the 2 supports. I really think you're happy with what just happened. You also demonstrated how strong your Timber Saw is. Jabs, of course, he got that double damage. He dealt the most. He got the double kill and he dealt the most damage in the fight. I question now the ability of Liquid to actually take down Jabs once he gets the Shivas. He's not too far from it. Like, the birds... Yeah, the birds aren't touching him. It has to be Earthshaker and Morphling that control him.
So, Gem now on Lornoff. And they're down here again. Ollie, he's the one who provided that vision to get that engagement started. Again, they didn't get Nisha, but I kind of agree. It's something. They're starting to look pretty good here and confident. They're only down 5,000 net worth.
Yeah, I think this Treant is probably one of the best heroes for competitive scene and one of the worst heroes for pubs. Like, you can set up so many things with Blink Shard if your team can understand how to play around you, which isn't really that easy to recreate. Just to be in the right position where you know someone is going to farm and then your teammates also connect. When you're behind, it's really difficult to do.
Oh, he's got this Blink Dagger, so he's able to position himself well for the overgrowth.
What you got in Shaker? Octarine as well? I think so, right?
Yeah. I think so as well. Yeah. So he's got that Octarine. He's also holding onto a gem. And they're going to go bot side as Roche potentially up, but as we know, because we could see it, 40 seconds.
Yeah, it's important for them to take the area first. You have the gem, you know it's not worth it, and then you can just wait out until Treant maybe, you know, like tries to sneak in. He's a good pick-off as well.
They're trying to force the hand of Aurora because they've got 23 up here top. They were pushing with the Familiars.
And it's not that simple for him to connect. He needs to TP on top lane and then use the Twin Gate.
Going to the outpost.
Okay. The fight isn't around Roche Pit yet, so he has time.
this is a big change from the last Roche as well, right? Because in the last Roche, Aurora weren't really willing to engage. They didn't have BKB on 23. They were behind about 9,000 net worth. Now it's a little bit more of a tighter game. You've got the BKB. You feel that Jabs is unkillable at this point. He's very tanky. And you've taken a couple of fights where they feel confident in going in. Yeah, they've got that Daedalus. They have that damage, but they're going to lose Q in a heartbeat. Late near used, but there's the Drinking Buddy. The Echo Slam out of the back lines. It's going to be on a Warnoff. They've got the Fissure to follow it up with the BKB being used. They get the kill on Boxy, but now the Whirlwind, it's on Anisha. They get the kill on the Earthshaker, and they're still looking to get this kill on the Jabs. But he's just too tanky. Walrus punches there. They find themselves Ollie. They'll get the kill on the Tree Protector. That's going to be a second one dead on the side of Aurora with the buyback being committed here by Boxy. They want more. Shards onto this Timber, but he's able to Timber Chain out of them. And now they've got the Shackle Shot, no jump in, but the Hex. Oh, they'll get the kill on a Warnoff. They blow him up. They're going to buy back up both the Hoodwink as well as the Tree Protector. They're going to try and get the damage out here. The Guardian Angel's going to be onto the Morphling. They get the kill on Insanio. They got the Omni Knight. Down goes 33. And now it's just Mickey against the world. Looking over at 23 Savage. They get the kill on the Windrunner. It's going to be an Ultra kill here for this Morphling. It's Jabs, Ollie, as well as Q. All here to get this kill on a Mickey. They'll full team wipe Team Liquid, and Aurora coming roaring back into this game.
3 buybacks, including 1 dieback on Liquid. That's the task. Afterwards, what do they do? Like, do they go Roche? Do they take the tier 2? They don't have Windrunner, they don't have Puck, so not a ton of damage. Can happen, but man, that fight started actually very poorly for Liquid. Because Shaker, like Nisha, he's zoned in on the puck. And it was a good attempt. Like, he jumps the puck, he catches him. But the problem is, Windranger popped the BKB and was just running in that... Look where Windrunner is going. She's just running in that direction. She wasn't running for the Shaker, but he appears next to her. And because of that, he just gets soloed by a 23. Very difficult fight for Team Liquid, the way it started at least. They still managed to at least get an ultra kill on Morphling, but in the end it's Aurora that came out on top.
Yeah, and you talk about how he happens to be there with the Whirlwind, and we talked about the Daedalus just before that fight happens, and he has that damage to get that kill on Anisha, and you can just see the output that 23 Savage has in a fight like this. 33 melts like paper there.
Yeah, and that's the difference between the last game and this one when it comes to Windranger. In last game, you have to buy this Manta and BKB, like you have so many defensive items. Here, you just go Daedalus, and then this hero really shines, and you can see what Windranger can do and why she's banned or picked all the time.
Yeah. Now, all that being said, that win for Aurora, Roche is still Liquids.
Yeah, this is something that, yeah, they didn't... I'm not sure why not contest this at all. I guess because of the Hoodwink. Like, you lost the Hoodwink, you lost your position 4, and you aren't willing to take this engagement. Was she one of the heroes? She did buyback as well, right? Yeah. So it was a really long death timer for Q.
Yeah, Hoodwink bought back, and so did the trio. So Ollie and Q both buying back in that.
By the way, the Hoodwink queuing up a Nullifier. They just recognized that, okay, we can't kill this Omni Knight, we need ways of dealing with his spells. Nullifier is one of those, but I have a feeling usually as Hoodwink, you don't get to use it very well. Not like some other heroes that get on top of you very easily, right? Like some melee cores or even these heroes with high mobility.
Now the thing is, they're going for the high ground. They've got this Aegis. Oh, good spot for Boxy. He's trying to make a move. Drinking Buddies all the way through the trees and will give up that positioning. Late near, Shackle coming in, but only hits the familiars. Are smoked up. They've got this Hex now onto Jabs. They had a Hex on 33. Fissure comes in. Jab's going to be stuck for the moment. Shackle flying out. And let's see. Can they make a move? The Aegis is still there. They've lost the tier 3. They've lost the range racks. It's not the worst thing in the world, but they're unable to react.
Yeah, they managed to kill the banner, and it was... You could see what Jabs was thinking. I'm gonna use this Hex and just blow this Morphling up. Just go straight through him with Timber Chain with Rolling Death, but the Fissure instantly blocks that from happening. And this is Liquid. Like, this is a team that really struggled with taking high ground long time ago. But they're doing it so damn well right now, and they have been for a year or two now. The positioning is just flawless. You saw Boxy in the trees on the north side. You have Shaker not committing, not doing anything, but just chilling and waiting for the Fissure to break any aggression.
And, you know, the Tusk not too afraid of being on top of the steps and in those trees, knowing that they've got drinking buddies, knowing that they've got Snowball and Blink Dagger. Like, there are a lot of options for this Tusk. And drinking buddies is a pretty neat spell. Hex onto the Morphling. They're going to go for the Shackle. They've got themselves the Bushwhack. They'll get the kill with the Sharpshooter. They'll take out Mickey. But now can they get the second? Nisha waiting for his moment to blink in an Echo Slam. These heroes aren't exactly converging together, though, on the side of Aurora. And now Lornoff throwing another Illusory Orb out there, but these familiars will drop down, heal up, and escape with the rest of Team Liquid.
Yeah, just as I praised them how good they are at taking high ground, they instantly get the Morphling blown up the way they wanted to blow him up the first time. Unfortunately, no saves in time from Liquid. But yeah, Aurora holding strong. They are still in this game. Like 2k difference is not really any sort of a lead at this point. Aghanim's completely done on Wind Ranger. We have this also on Puck, by the way. The good old Aeon Disc recipe. He's keeping it in case he gets hexed. Can save himself.
Everybody gets one, so he'll have that one pass with the Aeon Disc.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Farming up in a pretty aggressive spot, and Warnoff just trying to survive and feel a touch more relevant than he has in the past in this game.
He doesn't have a gem though. Even though he does have the Aeon Disc, he doesn't have a gem, and he's playing versus a Visage with an Aghanims.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. They lost it in that last fight, right? And I think it's sitting in the, sitting in the well.
Shaker, Tusk, they know.
Yeah, this is a problem. He does have that Aeon Disc though. Whether or not he puts it together or needs to is the question, and he's keeping it locked, so Lornoff just gonna Illusory Orb and get away. Yeah, getting closer and closer to 25 too with that Dream Coil Pierce's debuff immunity.
Yeah, he doesn't need to use the Aeon Disc unless they commit completely on him, so they didn't catch him. It was fine, he got away. Also, he used so many orbs, like this Octarine Core is very annoying. He's just constantly using orbs to scout. Like, you can see him farming with it, but also sending it in directions where he's at least thinks there's a chance that they come from.
Interesting look at Warnoff and the deep dive into his mind, but now Echo committed, still just keeping the Aeon Disc, not combined just yet. But there's the Hex, there's the Aeon Disc. It's gonna be combined, but they still kill him.
Yeah, like they had enough. It was literally all heroes hunting that poor Puck. Like, he was farming in very, very aggressive positions for way too long.
Yeah.
Got punished for it. But that's something that you have to do as Puck. At this point in the game, at this stage, and that's the way you buy time for your teammates.
We'll say, unfortunately, that kill comes close to the base, and it might force the buyback of the Puck, but Aeon Disc is used there, and that you purchase that item specifically for a moment like that, and it doesn't work out.
It's always difficult when the lanes are pushing in and you die like that. Like, do you buy back now? Because these are megas. You're gonna have to.
Yeah, are you willing to go up against megas, or are you willing to wait? 40 seconds, though, and they're gonna TP back 23, who will power shot. They're gonna have to try and clean up. They don't have Echo Slam. They are gonna buy back here. They'll go to the Drinking Buddies. They've got themselves Nisha with the BKB popping that Fissure onto both Q as well as Ollie. They jump in. They've got the Hex. Look at this. Do it again to Warnoff. His buyback symbol's not even gone yet. Totem forward. They go to the Guardian Angel. They've got the break onto the Morphling, but it's not going to matter. Jabs onto the low ground. Now they're going to focus their attention onto this Timber. They go to the Echo Slam. They're going to have the Refresher. They've got the Walrus Punch on a Jabs. They'll get the kill. He's got buyback. Dead for 90 seconds. He's going to be forced to use it. That's what he'll do. Ollie's got his as well. Man, this is a huge issue for the side of Aurora, who had brought the game all the way back from 9,000 down to 2,000, and it's back on up as they're looking to get Mega Creeps. They do not have Ward off. They're going to go in. They've got the Whirlwind, but now they've got the jump forward with this Snowball. They get a kill to Mickey. They'll take the Morphling. He's going to buy back. The Sharpshooter lands on a 33. They've got the Shards as well as the Soul Assumption. There's the Shackle, the Totem. The Echo Slam's going to be a whip. Oh, no. Is it Misha in trouble, or is it the side of Aurora? Because they lose 23. They'll lose Ollie. And this is looking like a full team wipe in the making for the side of Team Liquid, and a 2-0 victory if they can just clean up the rest. They don't have buyback. They get the kill to Q. They'll look over at Jabs, who gets back into the base. And the side of Liquid just clean up. There is nothing that the side of Aurora can do. GG is called. Liquid take the 2-0 as they fight on back, take the high ground, complete the team wipe. Yep, they do. And Liquid close it up.
Yeah, it's a rough one. You know, like you're playing this puck, you're having a rough game maybe at the beginning, but you claw the game back into your hands, and then you start farming this aggressively, this behind enemy lines, which was good. Like, he did it so well, and then bam, you die twice in 1 minute, and the game is basically over off of that. Like,
yeah,
he didn't have Aeon Disc, and I don't think he tracked all the stuns, all the hexes. Visage, Silent as Grave, gets on top of him, deletes him. Game is basically over from then.
Yeah, it was a great showing there from Liquid towards the end. They were able to blow up that puck. His buyback symbol's not even gone at that moment, and it's a 2-0 for them over Aurora. So we'll send it back over to the panel, hear their thoughts, take it away.
We have a lot of thoughts about that second game we just watched. Also want to clarify that Boxy did not stand up while playing, so we'll have to wait for our first TI competitor that plays Dota 2 while standing. But it was an outstanding performance from Team Liquid. A little bit of a mishap maybe a little bit later on in the game. Aurora made it spicy, Lacoste, but at the end of the day, it was Liquid that takes it.
Yeah, it looked like Aurora might turn this one around, but in the end, it did not happen. Liquid, you know, they came in prepared. I liked their drafts. I did also like Aurora's draft slightly more than I did in the first game, because the first one, after first 3 picks, it did go downhill pretty heavily. And this one, you could see what they were going for, and you could see the power of their lineup in some of these like mid-game engagements.
Yeah, this is a case in both games of Aurora playing Liquid's game. Even in this game too, where they looked like they could have turned around and it was slightly stronger, it just felt like Liquid was setting the pace. They were making the moves. They were the ones barreling down lanes, and Aurora were on the defense, because they did have a few good fights in that game, especially that one like around minute 15 where they got some kills near the tier 2. But even after that fight, Liquid reset and just went back, and they were constantly pushing them down, constantly forcing Aurora to, you know, put out some fires all over the map, and they never really got a grip of the game too.
Yeah, they didn't. And I feel like for Aurora, like this win on a pick, we've seen it successful from first phase once with Extreme in tournament so far in the first series that we saw. And since then, no team whose first phase has actually won with the Windrunner. And it's like, I think for Windrunner to do good, you need to push from your lane, get early Gleipnir, and then go take fights to your opponent. But when you're playing into an instant response Omni Knight that then can Guardian Angel against you, you have an offlane Visage going for Solar Crest, Greaves, Crimson. Like, your big statement moments on Windrunner are always just nullified by your opponent just out itemizing you and having heroes that deal with it. And I kind of feel like probably Windrunner was my big key kind of dislike throughout this entire series for Aurora, where if they didn't force themselves into this very small box straight away in both drafts, we could have maybe seen a different story from them. But yeah, I wasn't too much of a fan of this.
But they did wipe them.
Sure, didn't win the game.
We saw the strength of their lineup eventually.
But that's the thing. I think right now in Dota, if you eventually need to get one fight, by the time you win that one fight, you realistically need to do that 3 more times in a row to get back into the game. Like, the journey to getting to this point was so painful because they drafted themselves into this position, where for Liquid, it's like, you Earthshaker hits some multi-hero mid-slam, Omni Knight comes in, you repel, you dive, get a kill, if the Visage goes, takes top, you follow him, take tower. Like, everything you do in Dota at the moment needs to be strong lanes, dictate the game. You don't need to crush your opponent, but you just need to, you know, set the narrative. With Aurora getting like Windrunner carry, they're trying to do it a little bit with a Timbersaw, but the Hoodwinks going for Aether Lens, not really statement item picks. It's a big disparity between the two teams.
That was a big question mark for me, Hoodwink's items. If you want to go for Aether Lens, why not pick the other facet instead, so you have it immediately instead of, you know, having to buy 2,000 plus gold item. And I also want to say that this Wind Ranger also could have been flexed until the end. We didn't have many options left for position 4. Hoodwink in this one did look slightly underwhelming, especially in terms of damage being brought to the table with this type of a build. And I think Wind Ranger is a very strong position 4 hero as well. Very elusive, difficult to kill. You have, you know, the scaling later on where you can get your items up with the Whirlwind, but also pick a different carry maybe, because I'm not saying Wind Ranger, anything is wrong with the hero. I'm just thinking that they could have, you know, chose maybe a different carry in this one, considering what he was playing into.
Yeah, I don't want to harp on the Wind Ranger train right now because perhaps the game could have gone differently if Puck had a better game. Because in this game, when I look at it, Puck was the key factor for countering the early game pace of Liquid before they got to the point where they were grouping up behind the Visage and taking every tower. They needed the Puck to do as much as he could, but there were definitely some slip-ups with that ball that they wanted to do Puck plus the supports. There was that like 1 Echo mid into Wind Ranger getting ganked top with Puck not responding, Puck maybe diving a little bit too deep, dying under the tower when Morphling replicated into him, silenced him, and they killed him. I think that the Puck, had he had a different game, the whole draft would have looked different. So I don't want to over-focus on the Wind Ranger. I want to kind of focus more on Lorenoff's performance here, because it wasn't the Aurora that we're used to seeing with Lorenoff dominating the early game.
I will say, he is a first-timer. He's the only one on this team that has not been to an international yet, and I don't like to make that be a reason why, you know, day one might be a little rocky, but it might be why day one is a little rocky, T.
Yeah, potentially. I'd like to think that Lorenoff has been with the team and kind of traveled to events at this point. That it's not like it's his first TI and first LAN, so I'd like to think that this should be relatively okay. And again, it's like if we look at the previous one, like he's playing Puck. Effie wants to see him make big plays, but he's trying to lane into an Earthshaker that can out-deny him. He's trying to gank an Omni Knight that can repel and mitigate his early pressure. So it's like he's also not got the best hero for the game to do the 1v9 that we often like to see from Lorenoff. Like we like him on these last pick TAs, Timbersaw type heroes that can go, hey, this is my game, and behind me I have the rest of SEA, you know, demolishing the game. Like that just didn't happen today in this first series. Of course, they have many more series to try and fix this, but. Yeah, again, I don't like it's a cheap answer, but I think draft-wise, Aurora just shot themselves in the foot and made it so much harder than it needed to be.
Well, it was already hard from the get-go because there was one lane on the side of Team Liquid. Actually, there were several lanes on the side of Team Liquid that worked out really well. One of them was the Omni Knight lane, a lane together with a Morphling, and Purge is going to talk to us more about that.
And Omni-Knight lane was really interesting to me because Morphling is a hero who leverages his really high damage with his HP. When he takes damage, he basically increases his HP but decreases his damage. So to make the hero better, what you do is you pair it with heals. That way you can keep your HP really low and your damage really high. So pairing the Omni-Knight with the Morphling is super, super effective. If we take a look at some of the clips here that have been going on, they started off doing lots of damage to jabs, and then they do the waveform into Purify. Purify is normally hard as an Omni-Knight to leverage into damage, but it's perfect with Morphling because he benefits from the heal because it keeps his damage high, and then it also is paired with the waveform to do damage. Insania also got a really nice pull-off here at the 4-minute mark, which allowed him to pull some creeps in. They basically did a better job on the Liquid side pulling, and part of that is because of the waveform. Because with waveform, they are constantly pushing the lane, and they're also harassing their opponents, and they're getting last hits, and look how much damage they're doing to the Hoodwink here. So here's the Purify, the waveform. Q loses almost all of his HP at the start of the laning stage, or as the laning stage is developing, and this continues against jabs as well. So because Mickey never has to worry about dying, and he's doing damage to this waveform, and he's getting Purify in, it's harder for jabs to get last hits. Morphling basically gets to do whatever he wants, and then later on, the support just leaves the lane because Mickey is completely safe here. So he's gonna waveform out waves, AFK jungle in the neutrals. Then he's gonna go to the next creep wave and waveform that again, and then he's gonna go back in jungle. And that allowed him to get really far ahead. And the other benefit, jabs got really far behind. He had to farm for basically the next 20 or 30 minutes to even catch up in this game. So the laning stage was very cool, but for Liquid here, a little bit of a pivot on the Omni Knight, but very effective this game.
Thank you, Purge. That is incredibly effective. And normally I'd say, okay, but why doesn't someone help him to help jabs to come to the lane? But Lacoste, that wasn't possible because all lanes were struggling a little bit.
Pretty much, and the reason why lanes are struggling, I want to point out the Visage with his Death Toll, the new facet. It gives him insane amount of gold, and he can snowball out of control relatively easy. It gives him up to 210 gold per each Soul Assumption kill. If you have the max charges, you also get 15% of the creeps that you kill, which you're not going to use early on. But every single time you use that, you get a kill. He gets like half a bracer pretty much from it, and then he starts to snow. That's the extra gold.